would have believed it. Yeah, it's a good time to be a TCU alum for sure.
The Paul Feinbaum Show, powered by Polaris Fund Center, 2 to 4 weekdays on the Zone.
For your car, your home, your business too, Acme Glass takes care of you. For over 60 years, we're the clear leader. Our quality and value keeps shining through. For repair and replacement on all kinds of glass, you can trust Acme for quality that lasts. Where quality and value keep shining through, Acme Glass, we're the clear leader.
Hullabaloo Avenue is home to Aggieland's most diverse selection of officially licensed Texas Aggie gear. And right now through Christmas, they're having their biggest sale of the year with savings up to 40% off. But don't wait, these savings will only be available through Christmas, so stop by and save big today. Get something for the Aggie in your life. Fathers, mothers, brothers, sisters, cousins, and friends too. Find deals on vintage Aggie clothing, Adidas ball caps and hats, t-shirts, collectibles, and more, all 40% off. Hullabaloo Avenue on George Bush across from Kyle Field. Look for the big green sign next to TexAgs.
Christmas in the Park is now at College Station's Stephen C. Beachy Central Park. Every night through New Year's, enjoy the 1 million lights that bring Central Park to life. Remember to keep your radio tuned to Christmas 97.3 while enjoying this festive and seasonal favorite. Visit cstx.gov/Christmas for all the Christmas in the Park details, including parking, shuttles, and the full event schedule. That's cstx.gov/Christmas.
Did you receive a call or message that mentioned Social Security and demanded immediate action? Did the caller know your Social Security number or other personal information and tell you that your Social Security number had been used in connection with a crime? Did you feel worried that your Social Security number might be suspended, your bank account might be frozen or seized, or you could be arrested? That is not the Social Security Administration. Social Security will not threaten you, demand your personal information, or instant payment, email or text you pictures or documents, or use a real government official's name to gain your trust. Social Security does not accept payments by gift card, prepaid debit card, internet currency, or by mailing cash. Criminals use these forms of payment because they are hard to trace. Do not be fooled. Hang up. Ignore them. Report this criminal activity to the Social Security Administration Office of the Inspector General at oig.ssa.gov.
Produced at U.S. taxpayer expense.
My name is Bobby. I'm a veteran and lost my leg to a roadside bomb. My victory was going from a wheelchair to becoming a weightlifting champion.
I'm Sam. I'm a veteran. My victory was finding a career I can be proud of and supporting my family.
America's veterans are on their most important tour, the tour of their lives.
I'm a veteran. My victory was going from homeless to home.
At DAV, we're on a mission to help veterans get the benefits they've earned.
I'm a veteran, and my victory was finishing my education.
DAV offers veterans of all generations a lifetime of support for victories great and small.
My victory was proving that disability is not a limitation.
My victory was getting my service dog a new best friend.
We help more than 1 million veterans every year as they face and conquer their challenges.
My victory is being able to be there for my family.
When America's veterans win, we all win. Help us support more victories for veterans. Go to DAV.org.
Season's greetings and happy holidays from your only all-sports station. All-sports station. The Zone. KZNE College Station, Bryan.
From WTAW, I'm Chelsea Reber with a news update on The Zone. There's a fourth report of gunfire in Bryan since Saturday. A BPD spokesman tells WTAW News they do not appear to be random. The latest case was yesterday around 2 a.m. where no one was injured, but a home was struck on Westwood, Maine, which is west of Harvey Mitchell and south of Villa Maria. Gunfire on Saturday and Sunday resulted in people going to the hospital, and gunfire on Monday resulted in one person being treated at the scene. The operator of most of the Texas electric grid is expected to do a better job of communication during Winter Storm Elliott. That's according to the vice chairman of the ERCOT board, retired Congressman Bill Flores of Bryan.
One of the areas, for instance, where ERCOT really fell down during Winter Storm Uri is in communications. You had multiple people giving diverse messages to Texans, and that was inappropriate.
Flores says changes were made by ERCOT's new CEO, and he feels good about where ERCOT is due to the collective work that also includes the legislature, the governor, and the Public Utility Commission. A majority of Brazos County commissioners thought they were holding a workshop a week from today to discuss who would be on a committee to develop recommendations for a specialty criminal court for veterans. After the reminder from Commissioner Russ Ford during yesterday's meeting, County Judge Dwayne Peters said that was not going to happen.
I'm not sure that gives any time for all of the folks that we've already discussed that need to be involved in it. I'm not sure that, there's almost no way in the Christmas holidays to make that happen.
Ford and Irma Cawley wanted a workshop before the end of the year because they're leaving the elected body. The Brazos County Health District has announced 2 more distributions of free rapid COVID home tests. 2 boxes with 4 tests per box will be given at the Health District office today from 8 until 2 and next Wednesday through Friday. Businesses and not-for-profit organizations can contact the Health District to obtain larger quantities as available. For more news, go online to WTAW.com. I'm Chelsea Reber on The Zone.
Does your bank know your first name? At Normandy State Bank, they do. Normandy State Bank is locally owned, controlled, and operated. This local personal touch means banking decisions are made on site the same day you request it. Normandy State makes banking easy. They're open Saturdays, offer state-of-the-art online banking, bill paying, fund transfers, check and statement images. Normandy State, where customer service is their priority. Normandy State Bank, rock solid. Member FDIC.
The flagship station for Aggie Athletics is The Zone. Whenever the Aggies are playing, you can hear them right here at 1150 and 93.7 FM. Thanks to our listeners and Aggie broadcast sponsors, Schulte Roofing, Gulf States Toyota, Hargrove Insurance, and Twin Peaks. Here's a big gig 'em to all these sponsors. Listen to Aggie Athletics on The Zone 1150 and 93.7 FM.
Good morning, sports fans. I'm Zach Taylor with your Aggie Sports Minute on The Zone. The Sports Minute is brought to you by Hilco Metal Roofing and Supply. Call 936-825-0500 or click HilcoSupply.com. Yesterday was early National Signing Day for Texas A&M football. The Aggies inked 16 players in all, but Coach Jimbo Fisher says he isn't done yet.
There's still some other guys that on their signing days and when they're going to announce and do their work will be coming in, and then we'll continue to add to this class. Like I say, now recruiting, with the way recruiting is now, this is just the first part of it. So it's ever extending, and we'll keep going.
The signing period is set to officially end on February 2nd. Nothing doing for A&M women's basketball yesterday as it fell to Purdue 59-53. Junior guard KK Green after the loss.
So we're still young, figuring everything out, and we just have to execute better coming down the stretch. We had them 49-49, and we made, 3 turnovers or empty possessions, and we couldn't capitalize off those. So going forward, just capitalize on the small things, and we'll be fine.
Green finished with a team-high 14 points for the Maroon and White, which falls to 5-5 on the year. And staying on the court, former A&M women's coach Gary Blair has been nominated for the Naismith Memorial Basketball Hall of Fame. Blair holds the 12th most wins in Division I history with 852 and helped lead the Ags to a national championship in 2011. And that's been your Aggie Sports Minute, brought to you by Hilco Metal Roofing and Supply. On The Zone, I'm Zach Taylor.
Gotta be connected with The Zone. Follow us on Twitter or Instagram at The Zone 1150. Like us on Facebook at The Zone 1150. Programming alerts, prize updates, scores from games all across Bryan Broadcasting, contest news, and more. Connect with us and always be in the know. Can't remember what team is playing on what station? When are they giving away what? And when is the coach on the show? Follow us on Twitter or Instagram at Zone 1150. And be sure to like us on Facebook at Zone 1150. And always be in the know.
If I'm gonna do this, I'll need my news team at my side.
News team, assemble!
Howdy, Aggieland. Welcome to the SEC.
Our program will be built on 4 principles in which I talk about all the time: toughness, effort, discipline, and pride.
Dang it! I'm going to have to buy that boy cream cone.
Now I'm distracted on my point. What were you talking about?
It's bullcrap. All I care about is winning. Show me the dang baby.
You do it till they do it right, and then you do it till they can't do it wrong.
Go get him! Why are you dancing around? Eat him like he's a steak.
He fits what TexAgs radio is about. He fits into what the listeners are going to want. He's a pro on every level.
It's Nuno and the crew on TexAgs Radio. Right here on Sports Radio 1150 AM and 93.7 FM. The Zone.
Hey, records on my demo. Did y'all boys not
It's
get the memo?
8:06 on a Thursday morning. Dalton Hughes inside the Rollo Insurance Studio for David Nuno. This is TexAgs Radio presented by David Gardner's Jewelers. And everybody, you survived early signing day 2022. The 2023 class has begun to put pen to paper, as Ryan Brauninger would say. The Aggies have 16 letters of intent signed, 18 commits. The only two signatures they are still waiting for would be David Hicks out of Katy Pato, and we had his dad on the show yesterday, and Samu Taumanu-Pepe out of Atascocita. Overall, a uneventful signing day. The Aggies added, with a signing day addition, Micah Tease, the wide receiver out of Tulsa, Oklahoma, formerly committed to the Arkansas Razorbacks, and Sam Pittman, and he's going to be a Texas Aggie. Olin Buchanan with me this morning here at the desk. Good morning, OB.
Good morning. I like flipping guys from SEC rival schools.
It's always nice. You know, they've had a couple of them lately when you think of
the kid from the quarterback from Nashville.
I mean, yeah, and I'm sure everyone
Reed,
enjoys sticking it to Lane Kiffin when available, because he sure seems to love to do that to everybody else.
Yeah. I have a thought about Lane Kiffin, but I just can't share it. I'll share it off air.
Okay.
But you know what? The fact is that quarterback Marcel Reed was highly regarded, and he was committed to an SEC school with like him or not, Lane Kiffin or not. He has a good eye for quarterbacks, and so I think that's something to be excited about. I saw some tape on the kid from Tulsa, and he's not the biggest guy, but he looks really, really fast.
He looks really, really fast. Billy said yesterday we're not allowed to call it flip season or Merry Flipmas, but it is the Christmas season, OB, and this is our final show before we take a little holiday break.
So could we say that, like A&M flipped off Ole Miss or flipped off Arkansas?
I mean, why say it to that? I would, most people would probably just say it directly to Lane Kiffin.
If you get a flip, you flipped them off.
You did. You flipped off.
Flipped off Baylor.
Yeah. Torian York out of Temple.
Flipped off Ole Miss. Flipped off Arkansas. Is there anybody else they flipped off?
Flipped off Louisville.
Flipped off, of course.
Reuben
they
Owens.
flipped off Louisville,
and we'll talk about that in the next segment with OB, who was
down in everybody.
Down in El Campo yesterday. It was not flip season, but flipping off season apparently. Before we head into the holidays, TexAgs Radio presented by David Gardner's Jewelers. You can text us on the A&B text line. This is the Go Hour, presented by the Warehouse at CC Creations. Maroon never looked so good with Maroon U, OB. Should we introduce everybody else, or what do you want to do?
I've just introduced everybody.
Let's go to the back first in the fishbowl. Nick Savage. Nick, good morning. How are you?
Howdy, morning, y'all. I'm great, man. You're already getting some comments on the Stars gear, so that was definitely a good choice, I think.
Well, I figured if
he looks like he needs to be right there between the pipes.
Yeah.
Blocking everything.
I figured if I wear something like this, the people would focus less on my voice and what I'm doing, and they could just either make fun of me or whatever's going on. But Nick, it was your first signing day around here at TexAgs. How'd you feel?
Yeah, it was a fun, I think, 11-hour day. I was here I took a lunch break, of course, but lots of work on the graphics and stuff. I think we started like 2 weeks. I'm sure you started way before I even got involved, but 2 weeks of prepping the graphics and stuff. And the best part is we make stuff that never gets seen. So it's a little disappointing, but I think they added a lot of guys with the team first mentality that I think that's going to go a long way, especially a year or two from now when they start seeing the field, and it should be exciting. I really like that quarterback Marcel Reed. He looks like he's going to be good when his turn comes around.
Yeah, lots of fun, lots of stuff that gets made that people never see, but that's the fun in the business of what we do. You got to be ready for anything and everything on signing day, and I'd say we were, and it was actually rather calm compared to last year. We were live for 4 hours this year. I think I added up last year. We were live for almost 8.
Is that right?
Wow. Between the morning session and the afternoon session with Bronny in the hosting in the afternoon. Over in the social center, I don't know how I convinced her to come in to help today, but Kay Nagley is here to class up the joint. Good morning,
Well,
Kay.
that's for sure.
Good morning. I am always ready to help. Y'all know that, especially as of yesterday. It was a kind of calm, but it was actually a pretty calm day. Besides, me and Richard had a couple flare-up moments that we had to like.
Really? Well, Richard has a couple flare-up moments.
What was that about?
He just can't handle anything changing.
Chase Basantes committed or signed during the press conference, so he was all, trying to get a handle of that, and then
Richard just needs to take a break.
Yeah, Chance Johnson also.
Yeah, Richard
committed.
just needs to hey, just breathe. It's okay. We'll be all right. Kay, what's going on? And I actually put a couple of topics out there that you can read. Maybe we can get some interaction from the people listening to us this morning.
All right. First off, I'm going to start with some news. Women's basketball. Legend Gary Blair was announced as a nominee for the Naismith Memorial Basketball Hall of Fame. The organization announced on Wednesday. And also some more women's basketball. A shorthanded Texas A&M women's basketball team, which edged out by a late Purdue surge in the Wednesday's afternoon 59-53 loss to the Boilermakers inside Reed Arena.
Second straight game where they've played with 7 players.
Yeah, it sounds like they're starting to make some progress. So Purdue's usually really good.
Purdue's really good, and that's a Power 5 team that they played with, again, 7 players. That's not easy to do around the holiday season. We'll talk more women's basketball later today. We got Tap Bentz joining at 10:05 along with Logan Lee. We need to get into what happened at Reed Arena on Tuesday. We'll do that at one point with you this hour, OB. Kay, go ahead and throw out those topics, and let's see if we can get people texting in on the A and B text line.
I got them. So first up, number 1 is which signee for Texas A&M are you most excited about? Then second question is what is your favorite family Christmas tradition?
I think I asked you that one yesterday, Kay. What's your favorite Nagley family Christmas tradition?
I thought about this, and so we always have Christmas on the 24th. We open presents on the 24th. It's just always been that way. I don't know any different. And then we'll usually go to another family member's house on the 25th. So I just think waking or going to bed on the 23rd and kind of having it early has always been a weird favorite for me. So
interesting. I'll save mine for later. OB, do you have one?
I don't know that we have one. Because we change what we do every year, In fact, we just put up a Christmas tree just 2 days ago.
There you go. I'll say this. I'm a fan of that. There's people that put up Christmas stuff way too early.
Well, we've not had a Christmas tree since, I guess, 2017. We had the first year when Buck was a puppy and he pulled it down. We were asleep or in bed, and all of a sudden this big crash
from the
living room. We go down, the dog is hiding, and he pulled down the Christmas tree and everything on it. So we just didn't have one. And then the other day, Irma says, I miss having a Christmas tree. So I went up and bought one. We came down and put it up. And Buck's now an old dog, so he doesn't do that silliness anymore.
He knows better.
So I'm trying to think if we have an actual – we used to do, tamales in a Mexican house. But even Irma said, well, it's just the 3 of us. Should I get tamales? I said, no, don't worry about it. So –
Man, I would have a hard time saying no if someone offered to. Should we get them?
Yeah, I get a lot of Mexican food.
You do.
And then
you rub it in my face a lot of times. Anytime Irma cooks something good, you always want to come up here and tell me the next day. And I'm like, well, Olin.
Well, I'll try to remember to bring some.
There we go.
And then, a lot of times we go down to the Rio Grande Valley, but Quinn's back from school. And he said, I just don't feel like chilling out, traveling. I want to stay at home and see his old high school buddies. And so we're just not doing anything. So I guess we don't have one.
Sometimes it's good to do nothing. It's good to, and especially with this weather that's coming in the next couple of days, I don't think people are going to want to get out and do a whole
I think that we're going to probably have a subdued Christmas until we become grandparents. So I say, hey, Quinn, go out and get somebody pregnant.
Well, Quinn,
maybe not, but let's wait.
Let's get through college.
Maybe wait a couple years.
Yeah,
listen to me.
I need him to get become father. For me to become, I'm running out of time to become a grandfather.
You'd be a fun grandpa. Okay.
I would like to think so.
Well,
he's I got to live that long.
Every intern here it's Grandpa Olin. So let's not kid yourself. Olin's had great practice at this gig. OB, other thing I wanted to get to here. We're gonna talk about Reuben a little bit in the next segment, a little bit of men's basketball. Most interesting thing from early signing day that caught your eye yesterday? Doesn't have to be A&M related.
Well, first of all, understand I'm driving down to El Campo while all this is going on. I'm trying to listen to
Billy.
I've only worked here 10 years plus, and I found out yesterday how to listen to the show on my phone. I found out yesterday.
We actually have an app now, and it's probably even easier than the way that you did it.
Yeah, that's over my head, apps. But I stopped in Navasota and messed with my phone until I figured it out.
There we go.
And so I listened to the show all the way down, and I guess the most interesting thing was how Billy looks in a cowboy hat.
That was interesting. I would say that was interesting.
So, but as far as the actual, flips nationally, I wasn't paying. I understand that Baylor had a hard day with flips.
Lost the quarterback, Austin Novosad,
and
out
apparently,
of Jumping Springs,
which was shocking to me because I thought his whole deal was that, why wasn't interested in A&M supposedly was because, I gave my word to Baylor. And so I don't want to go back on my word, right? Didn't we hear a lot of that?
Maybe, yeah. I think maybe we did.
And now, but I'll go to Oregon. My word is different when it comes to Oregon. I wonder if all that Nike money had anything to do with changing your word,
Or as some would say, all is fair in love and recruiting. Well, yeah. And it don't matter, and it don't mean nothing until that paper is signed, sealed, and delivered. And so, in this day of age, it's only signed, sealed, and delivered, and it could only be that way for a year. You can go back and change it.
Was there kind of a earth-shattering flip yesterday nationally?
I think the biggest earth-shattering thing, if you ask me, this happened right after we got off the air yesterday with the TexAgs signing day show at 11. Browns are sitting out in the lobby. There seemed to be a consensus that Peyton Bowen going into yesterday was not going to go to Notre Dame, which is where he was committed.
Probably to Oregon.
Well, then everyone thought it was Oklahoma. Then in the morning it came out, hey, he's sticking with Notre Dame because supposedly Notre Dame put out some kind of graphic that had Peyton Bowen on it. Then it came out right at 11 that he was committed to Oregon, and as we're sitting here right now, he has yet to sign a national letter of intent. It is but he is committed to Oregon at the moment. I'd say that was the most interesting.
I wonder if he has actually signed with somebody, but for whatever reason, he just doesn't want to announce it yet.
Always possible.
Yeah.
Always possible. And then the other thing that really caught my eye, I mentioned it to you before the show, had to be Dabo Swinney talking about how he used name, image, and likeness to build his program, OB, and that was on the name, image, and likeness of God.
Yes.
It was about as Dabo as it get. And I said to Andrew Monaco at the presser yesterday, Clemson probably paid some PR guy $75,000 to come up with that line.
No, that's a Dabo line.
You think that was all Dabo natural?
Yeah, but I got to tell you this, and I don't question Dabo's faith, and that's fine, but that sure sounded a whole lot like Butch Jones's 5-star character or 5-star citizens or whatever.
I think the 5-star hearts.
5-star hearts, yeah. But he said they were going to play in the name, image, and light, so are they going to have like all long white beards or whatever you think? However you envision God to look, or
yeah,
maybe they're gonna, maybe they're all going to look like they're going to play like what is that in the Ten Commandments? Like a fiery tornado, Maybe they're going to be parting the Red Sea.
I'm just gonna bite my tongue so I don't say anything that I don't need to
say. You know what?
Because I've got lots.
Dabo's got a lot of, but he's got a lot of cachet. So he's one of those guys that can say something like that and get away with it because, he's won a lot.
He's won a lot, and he seems to be the guy that the media will laugh at for a day or two, but they're not going to stay on it for very long. Unlike Butch Jones and the 5-star hearts, that was joked about probably every day until he was fired in Knoxville.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes it's best not to say anything. But when you're established and the national media likes you, you can really pretty much you get a pass. We've seen that with Saban. We've seen that with Dabo. We've seen it with other guys. Say something kind of silly, but or make false accusations, and the national media will have your back. Now, if Dabo would say, or if somebody else said that, I'm trying to think of what other coach might, say something like that, then the national media would probably stay on his back about it.
Yeah. All right.
Use it to ridicule him if the first time they lose.
Whenever the opportunity arises, they would be there to pounce.
Yes.
Sounds familiar.
Yeah, doesn't it?
Yeah, sounds awfully familiar. 8:21 on a Thursday morning. This is the final episode of TexAgs Radio before the Christmas break. We come back more with OB, and we will talk a little Reuben Owens following OB's trip down to El Campo. You're listening to TexAgs Radio, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers.
Time to talk about the Association of Former Students. David Nuno here, talking about my good friends out there. We love them. Randy does awesome work out there. They all do. I mean, they're just great people. They're Porter, Lexi, the crew, Scott. You should check out their website that they've created, IamTheWhy.com. It's not necessarily about the association. It's about you, but it's their why. You are their why. That's why they created the Association of Former Students and why they do it, and that's why they created IamTheWhy.com, so you can see these amazing stories, because the association loves to give back. Scholarships, Aggie bands, Silver Taps, Ring Day, class reunions, muster, tailgate, traveling Aggies. That is what the association does. So IamTheWhy.com kind of gives you their why for it. You check out these amazing stories, these collection of stories through your perspective and your lens, a place that you can upload your very own story for other Aggies to check out. It is that kind of website. You'll love it. IamTheWhy.com. It is brought to you by the Association of Former Students that loves to give back. They've been doing it forever. It's the Association of Former Students.
Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas.
Ho, ho, ho. Merry blank
Christmas.
Merry Christmas and Happy New Year from Chip Howard Sports Talk.
Merry Christmas.
I'm Chelsea Reber with your community calendar on the Zone. Join the Brazos Valley Cowboy Church for a Christmas Eve candlelight service at 5 p.m. For more information about becoming a Master Gardener, Brazos County gardening best practices, or other gardening events, visit brazosmg.com. Al-Anon is a mutual support program for people whose lives have been affected by someone else's drinking. Join them Sundays at 7:30 p.m. at A&M United Methodist Church. SARC offers free and confidential services to anyone affected by sexual assault in the Brazos Valley. If you or someone you know is in need, call 979-731-1000. Newly formed cancer support groups are available for cancer patients, survivors, and caregivers the fourth Monday of each month. For more information, go online to mendingheartsgriefcenter.org. Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays to you and your family from the Zone 1150 AM and 93.7 FM. That's your community calendar. I'm Chelsea Reber on the Zone.
Brazos Running Company has moved to Century Square. Same passion for running and fitness and for finding the right shoe that fits your stride and style. Now with so much more. In addition to the sought-after running shoe brands like On and Hoka, Brazos Running Company now carries Birkenstock shoes, and they are the only place in town to carry Viore clothing, one of the hottest athletic wear brands in the country. Both make great gifts. So come shop Aggie-owned and operated Brazos Running Company, now located in Century Square below Star Cinema Grill in College Station.
The College Football Bowl season on the Zone is brought to you by Hungry Howie's, the home of the flavored crust. You can hear the national championship game, the college football semifinals, you can hear the New Year's Six, and more. All the bowls from ESPN Radio right here on the Zone, 1150 AM and 93.7 FM. Listen in thanks to Hungry Howie's, the home of the flavored crust. It's the bowl season, the most wonderful season of the year.
Merry Christmas straight to you, OB.
Straight to you, George Strait.
Yeah. 8:25 Thursday morning, TexAgs Radio.
We're going to play Christmas cookies next.
No, I think I put something else on there.
Okay.
I don't remember what it was. I just wanted to give you the one George Strait. I was told that you don't get that as much anymore. So
well, that's true. We play all that rap stuff. I'll just put it.
I was just giving OB an homage there.
Kay Nagley's kind of laughing at me over there. I think she probably is into that rap stuff.
Kay Nagley's always laughing at you.
No, but they don't play that much. Like, I feel like it's more.
Oh, is that right? Okay, just at the front.
It's more of like Nuno's
just
style of music.
Okay.
Thursday morning.
Why is Nagley laughing though?
I'm just smiling.
Is she laughing at me or with me?
Yeah, whatever one you want it to be.
Okay, so what do you want to say, Dalton?
I don't have anything.
What are you trying to say that I keep interrupting?
I'm just going to get to pay the bills real quick.
Okay.
TexAgs Radio presented by David Gardner's Jewelers. We are inside the Rollo Insurance Studio. OB, you went down yesterday to El Campo to see the Pearl. signing of a pearl.
Well, the El Campo was actually, I did some reading on the history of El Campo, and it was actually known as the Pearl of the Prairie, because back in the days when they had the train station there, the kind of the crossroads from Houston to Victoria, you can think of old Cowboys 100 years ago coming into Victoria, be like 10 miles away, and they could see the lights from the section house of the, and so it said it glowed like kind of like a pearl, so it became the Pearl of the Prairie. And I was thinking, gosh, all these people coming into El Campo last few years to watch Reuben Owens the lights of the city must look like a whole necklace, because at Ricebird Stadium, which, by the way, talk about an underrated mascot,
Ricebirds.
Yeah.
I remember when Bronny was talking about Reuben, I guess it was probably last year around Thanksgiving, watching him in the playoffs. He loved to tell us about the Ricebird mascot. But
I learned a Ricebird is a red and black bird.
Okay.
I just figured it was one of those white birds that are hanging around with cattle. But anyway, Reuben Owens, first of all, El Campo is a really nice town. I liked it. A lot of farmland between there. So, of course, there's a whole bunch of Aggies that are at El Campo, and they were very apparently the whole population was very relieved, or most of the population very relieved when Reuben flipped to A&M. And you watch the guy play. They were talking about how he had kind of an off year this year. He had 1,700 yards, but they were considering it an off year. He ran for 2,989 as a junior. They had better offensive linemen. One of them's at A&M Kingsville now. So the point is, get the kid just a little bit of room, a little bit of blocking. He can do great things with it. Doesn't have Devon A-Chain speed. Who does?
Not many people.
Right. But he has more than enough speed that you don't catch him from behind. He's really strong. He runs through tackles, bounces off tackles, great vision. As his coach, Chad Royal, was basically saying, list all the things you really look for in a running back: vision, speed, durability, hands to catch out of the backfield, reliability, breakaway, all these things, ability to break tackle. And he's
checking all the boxes.
Yes. So, complete package type of guy. Really kind of quiet, like Devon. He might talk a little more than Devon, but, that's not saying much. That's easy to do. He's an explosive guy. Again, who does have the speed Devon has. So he's not going to have that, but he's got more than enough breakaway speed, the ability to make a lot of – they were telling me about a play he made for a touchdown in a game, I think he said against Brazosport, where the play was just blocked. I mean, it wasn't there. It was kind of a sweep or something, and it was just completely stopped. Mm-hmm. But he was able to take a few steps backward and then reverse his field and break a tackle, and then he's gone for 70 yards.
I think the most interesting thing, watch the highlights. We watched them some yesterday as well. And then hearing Jimbo talk about it at the presser. I remember from last year, Ronnie telling me, yeah, they run it downhill. There's a lot more clips of him catching the ball.
He does have good hands.
I feel like we've talked about that a lot the last couple of years. That was something we wanted to see more of Devon A-Chain. Maybe we'll see more of it with Reuben Owens, because it looks like he can clearly do it.
Yeah, and he had 4 touchdown receptions in his career. That doesn't sound like much, but when you're handing him the ball all the times, how many times do you have,
do you have to
he's
pass
actually going to throw it? So, but they'll tell you, yeah, he's a really good receiver. His dad, Reuben Sr., told me, he said, and I used this quote in the article I wrote because I really liked it. His dad played basketball at Mary Hardin Baylor.
Okay.
His dad's uncle is Kellen Hurd, the big defensive lineman, 6'5", about 300 something, from Wharton that played here at Texas A&M. So his dad, I said, well, why don't you steer him toward basketball? He said, well, he's too small. He's only 6 foot, 195, right? He said, you got to be 6'6" or 6'7" or shoot like Steph Curry, and he can't do that. He said, but he can run like Barry Sanders and Walter Payton, so we put a football in his hands.
What was the best quote you got yesterday of your trip down to El Campo? What made
probably that
one?
But just first of all, everybody there was so accommodating, and what great facilities they have down at El Campo. Nice playing surface. Looks like the field turf, and then the weight room makes you want to work out. Broniger wouldn't have known what to do there. It would have been like, like putting a dog in a jungle with all those trees. He wouldn't have known what to do with all that.
Bronny likes to talk about his working out. All I've ever known him to do was just bench press.
Well, whatever.
So
he
you don't need a lot of
facilities
facilities to bench press. You just need a bar and a bench.
But his dad was very friendly. The coach was accommodating everybody. I talked to a guy who was the sports director at the local radio station, who's been calling play-by-play of the games on the radio since '95. So he had a lot of things to add and some comparisons. I saw Robert Strait play. I saw who else? Who was the other guy? Somebody else that it's
escaping you.
Yeah, but that you would know the name, right? And he says, "Man, and Reuben's just so much better, and all these things." So it was a long drive down there. 2 hours wasn't too bad. You're like I said, you're driving through a whole lot of farmland. You go past places on the way like Buckhorn and Raccoon Bend, and then all the way down to Nada. You get to Nada before you get to El Campo. But man, it was a fun atmosphere. It seemed like they had the whole family there. I mean, extended family, everyone was friends. Of course, they'd be excited. But you know what he told me was, I was asking about him flipping from Louisville when Scott Satterfield took the job at Cincinnati.
Mm-hmm.
Scott Satterfield took the job at Cincinnati on December 5th. Jimbo was talking to him at El Campo High School at 9 o'clock on December 6th, 9 a.m. And, of course, he committed to A&M on December 7th.
Mm-hmm.
I said, well, what if Scott Satterfield hadn't have taken that job at Cincinnati? And he said, well, I probably would have flipped anyway. They said that A&M's always been in their heart. And Texas had always been in the heart. They always liked A&M. And that told me that the day he committed, and they really they talked about Tommy Robinson and the job he did recruit. They really had a bond there with the running backs coach here. And the day that he committed to Louisville, they said, okay, but we're going to keep recruiting you to signing day. And Reuben said, okay.
And to signing day, it came true.
And signing day. So I think even when he was committed to Louisville, there was still
something in the back of his mind.
There was still something in the back of his mind about A&M.
Trey and Shiner on the A&B text line texting in on our little topic. He said, I'm most excited about the three small-town kids, or as Jimbo called them, the three amigos.
The three amigos.
Reuben Owens, Dalton Brooks, and Bravion Rogers.
Yeah, I like everything about those guys except for the first name of the guy from
Shiner. Agreed. He could do a lot better.
No.
There's definitely a more important Dalton
but you know what?
now than me.
And all those guys, they're explosive, exciting guys. They're the best players on their teams, as you'd expect. But, you watch their tape, and they're just jumping out.
Yep.
Big play guys that you could do a whole lot with. So, what are they going to take the kid from LaGrange and Shiner and probably play him on defense?
I think that's what Bronny said is playing. But you know who we can ask about to make sure?
Who?
Jason Howell, TexAgs senior recruiting analyst, who's going to join us next here on TexAgs Radio. You're listening to us presented by David Gardner's Jewelers.
So several times in my life I've had to buy a car, and it's never easy, right? But everybody told me, go Will Country Chevrolet. And, we do their spots, and I know Zach Hester, he's a buddy. I was like, all right, when it's time, I'll check him out. And then last summer, we had to get a new car. I had been telling Zach for months, like, dude, eventually I'm going to call you. I'm going to need a car. This is what my wife wants, yada, yada, yada. Then I changed my mind. It'll be another couple of months. And, he was cool with it. And then he's like, just tell me when you're ready. We'll help you out. What do you need? Let me get on the lookout for you. And he found the car we needed. We needed a bigger car. We needed a Tahoe. He took care of us. And he takes care of everybody out there. That's what they do at Caldwell Country Chevrolet. Great trade-in, great experience, amazing customer service. It is really the place to go to buy your vehicle. If you're listening to this show, trust me, you want to start your search there. 15-minute drive, Bryan to Caldwell, short conversation away. But you will see the difference when you step on the lot and you do business with Zach and the fellas there at Caldwell Country. It is Caldwell Country Chevrolet, Highway 21 in Caldwell. Online at caldwellcountrychevrolet.com.
He's gone to L.A. to interview Hugh Jackman, Brad Pitt, and Mark Wahlberg. Now he hangs out with Billy and O.B. It's David Nuno with TexAgs Radio on the Zone.
Shop local, buy local, save big deals.
only from your local Big Deal store. If you've never visited our website, you're missing out because we've partnered with some of the best local businesses in town. Dozens of gift certificates, all discounted, ready for you to buy today. Here are just a few of the businesses you'll find.
Elements Massage of Bryan College Station, C&J Barbecue, and Texas Burger. Shop and save now at AggielandBigDeals.com.
Holiday sparkle starts at Montelongo's Fine Jewelry. The Montelongo's Fine Jewelry family has been helping people select the perfect gift for over 30 years, and they want to be your jeweler this holiday season. Let Montelongo's help you find a dazzling gift from their incredible selection that's in stock and ready to be wrapped. Decide joy. Decide to give. Decide Montelongo's. Bring home a little sparkle with a gift from Montelongo's Fine Jewelry that's sure to make your loved one's Christmas shine. Visit their showroom on University Drive, and Merry Christmas from the Montelongo family to yours.
Shopping here during Christmas means a lot to our local economy. Our local businesses are the sponsors for all sorts of community projects. They provide jobs for thousands of people. They pay the taxes that pay for all the great things in our towns. And it all happens when you shop here for Christmas. When you shop out of town, you're paying for somebody else's parks and streets. The stations and magazines of Bryan Broadcasting ask you to look around here first. It's fun, it's fast, and it's where our jobs are.
This is Daryl from Columbus, previously from the Paul Feinbaum Show.
I'm really looking forward to chatting again with Joe Anderson.
I'm having a great time. I'm excited about TCU, making it to the semifinal. Nobody thought this was going to happen. I would be hard-pressed to even believe that Sonny Dykes would have believed it. Yeah, it's a good time. Good time to be a TCU alum, for sure.
The Paul Feinbaum Show, powered by Polaris Fun Center, 2 to 4 weekdays on the Zone.
TexAgs Radio on a Thursday morning.
We must be in a rush.
We are in a rush because we got to go, because we got to get out to the hotline and talk to the TexAgs senior recruiting analyst who absolutely killed it with his signing day coverage.
He always does.
He was at high schools. He joined us on the show. He really sets the bar at a very high level. Mr. Jason Howell. Jason, good morning, sir.
Thanks for having me on.
You got to respect a guy with a gray beard.
I don't know if it's well earned or not, but I'll take it, man.
I mean, Jason, I'm just glad
you both, OB.
Yeah, Jason, I'm glad you made it back to the recliner after yesterday. You put in the miles, my man. Tell us all where you went.
Well, I started the day off at Mansfield at Lake Ridge High School. Really wanted to get some eyes on Riley and Kennedy, late addition. A guy that A&M really jumped on in December, and that thing just took off like a rocket. I mean, it went from, hey, we're interested to, all right, sign him up, and in a matter of a couple weeks. And what a great kid. This is the first time I've had a chance to really talk to him and meet his family. Great family. Checked in on his official visit to A&M at 6'3.5", around 210 pounds. So he's skinny, but he's got a real lean frame. You're talking about a kid that high jumped 6'8" last spring, while earning I think he earned a basketball scholarship, was first team all district in a district that includes Duncanville, DeSoto, and Lancaster. That, when it comes to basketball, it's just like football. They put out a ton of players, and it's highly competitive. And then this year, he just went off on the football field and was quickly emerged as one of the top pass rushers and edge threats, in a really stout district. Saw his recruitment take off in November. But yeah, that was first stop. And then second stop, I had to go see Javon Thomas in South Oak Cliff.
Back-to-back state champs.
Two-time Todd out there, and with their back-to-back state championships, see JT Thomas. And, if there was one signee that there was some mystery around in the DFW area, it was Javon. And, wanted to see him put pen to paper, and, it was a great day. I think A&M should be pretty excited about what's coming their way.
Yeah, I wanted to ask about Thomas especially.
Yeah.
In your opinion, is he the type of guy, if it comes to that could you envision him starting right away as a freshman? Because Jalen Jones did.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if he's healthy, he's coming in January. He's going to be ready for spring ball. He's battled some nagging injuries. Nothing I would say is serious over the last year. He had some back issues. He had some hamstring stuff that kind of sidelined him this year. But if he's healthy, he's as good as you're going to find out there. In his only year at South Oak Cliff playing defense last year, he was he was one of, if not their best defensive back, and that says a lot. Every one of their starters signed a D1 scholarship, and when he arrived, they raved about him being an All-American caliber prospect, and he more than lived up to the billing. Twitchy, explosive. He brings it. He can cover with the best of them. He gets physical. He's a guy I could definitely see making some noise, and he'll be in Aggieland in January.
Well, let's talk about another guy that has a chance to make some noise, Jason. The last edition yesterday, a new commit and then signee, Micah Tees, the wide receiver out of Tulsa, Oklahoma.
Yeah, super explosive. I think Jimbo said he can be a slot, or he could be a outside receiver. He's got the physicality and the way he attacks the ball. This is a guy that's a two-way standout. He had several scholarships on the defensive side of the ball, but he's a playmaker on offense. Don't mistake it. He's got great speed and body control, and he was a problem for defenses up there in Tulsa, Oklahoma, and a multi-year starter and a contributor right away for one of the best programs in the state of Oklahoma for 4 years.
Jason, I would ask you to look. We all understand that there was a big disappointment that A&M was not able to close out with Anthony Hill, but beyond that, throw out what the recruiting services say. We understand that they didn't sign about half as many as they did last year, and all those things. And there's some more 3-star guys sprinkled in than before. How would you interpret this class? How would, as a recruiting expert, look over it? What would be your message to the A&M fandom of how they should view this recruiting class?
Well, the roster got better yesterday. You look at the 23 class, the DBs, I would say is probably the strength of the class. And you need that right away. Dalton Brooks, Bravion Rogers, those are two athletes in our system, but they're projected to be defensive backs, and they can play with the best of them. They're elite athletes, and Javon Thomas is right. He's one of the top corners in the country. So you got better there. O-line, you've got guys like I love Chase Basantis and TJ Shanahan and their nasty edge. And I know there's been a lot of talk about where they project and what, but these are guys that could play anywhere from center to right tackle, and they're going to bring that nasty edge and athleticism that's hard to find. And these are guys that could contribute right away. David Hicks, he signs on the line. You got 2 5-stars. I know I'm starting to go a little long, but I'll just say this. You got better, and you added some intrigue, guys like Torian York. I mean, you got to love the attitude, the intangibles, and what he brings on the defensive side of the ball. And he's one of your lower signees. He's one of your lower rated signees, if you will. But let me tell you, that's a guy that can come in and be a instant impact locker room guy and really help out your program. And shoot, wouldn't be surprised to see him contribute in one way or another as a true freshman. So you got some dudes on this list, some that project, some potential there with guys like Rylan Kennedy and Naquil Bertrand, but you got some dudes that can get in there and and really help out your roster pretty early.
Two more names, Jason, I wanted to kind of reset for everybody listening today.
Yeah.
A&M has two commits that didn't sign yesterday. David Hicks out of Katy Pato and Samu Taumanapepe out of Atascocita. What's the latest on those situations?
And Brownie's been all over this, and I know Coach Hicks was on the other day. So, everything points to David signing early, and they've been in communication with the staff, and so this wasn't a surprise. I think you'll see that paperwork come through, and I feel pretty confident about that. But it's recruiting, and we always see some crazy stuff. So yeah, I mean, there's always that hesitation, but I feel really good about what's going to happen with both of those guys.
And Hicks is the type of guy that can come in and not just help. I mean, he could be a player right away, right?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, he's the number one ranked player in the state of Texas by just about everybody, and just a phenomenal instant impact player, even with the depth that A&M has on the defensive front.
Jason, we appreciate you taking the time to join us, man. We hope you have a Merry Christmas up there in DFW, man.
Absolutely. Hey, but before I go, when I took that picture of Javon Thomas yesterday, I said, there ain't no TCU gloves in this one, are there? And we got a nice little laugh out of that.
Well, hold on, Jason. So. We had Kay over in the social center today. Yesterday everyone's talked about hat science for years, right? Which hats are on the table. She was doing banners and balloon science yesterday at Javon's
it was the table runner. It was
the
an
table
A&M
runner.
Table runner.
I had people ask me, say, how do you guys at TexAgs do such a great job on recruiting? And I said, how? And they said, that's what I'm asking you.
He don't get no respect, Obi. Jason, thank you so much, sir. We'll talk to you later.
Love it. Thanks, man. Thanks for having me on.
All right, when we come back, OB, it's Thursday. McGee's not here. He's got, the baby, so he needs to do some Christmas things.
Yeah.
But we still got to do That's Bullcrap, and we'll do that, and we'll talk a little basketball, which may go hand in hand. You never know. You're listening to TexAgs Radio, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers.
Hey friends, David Nuno here. Caprock and their highly personalized emergency care, they have a great place. I'm just tell you right now, their patients there benefit from a very unique one-on-one experience, and that is very important because should your stay be longer, they'll manage every element of your visit there, and they'll take amazing care of you, especially in those hotel-quality rooms. You don't have to sit or sleep in a crazy, ugly room. No, they'll take care of you with like a hotel-quality place that you wouldn't mind staying at. And they are there to make you feel better. That is their sole purpose when you go. And they're 100% locally owned and operated. They're here in the Brazos Valley, and they put the patient first in every single decision that they make. Their sole purpose, again, is to make you feel better. They've got 2 state-of-the-art locations designed for patient healing and family friendliness. You've got Caprock Hospital in Bryan and Caprock 24-hour emergency center in College Station. They both have 0 wait time for emergency care, so you'll never have to sit in a crowded waiting room. Remember, Caprock Hospital in Bryan and Caprock 24-hour emergency center in College Station.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas.
And Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Happy New Year. Happy New Year.
From the Louie Bellina Show.
I'm Chelsea Reber with your community calendar on the Zone. Mosaic Church in College Station invites you to their Christmas Eve service at 5 p.m. All are welcome to the candlelight service with a children's nativity and Christmas carols. NAMI Brazos Valley hosts weekly online support groups for those impacted by mental illness. Groups are confidential and led by trained facilitators. Visit NAMIBV.org for more information. Make friends, test your strengths, and explore new possibilities. At Girl Scouts, girls can be themselves and let their confidence soar. Get your girl involved. Learn more at gsctx.org. Did you know that the Student Employment Office at Texas A&M offers a free part-time job posting board? Visit jobsforaggies.tamu.edu for instructions on how to post your job opening. The Zone, 1150 AM and 93.7 FM wishes you and your loved ones happy holidays and a Merry Christmas. That's your community calendar. I'm Chelsea Reber on The Zone.
Hey, we're here with Jason Rollo. What makes Rollo Insurance so unique?
Well, we're a business ourselves, and we grew from a notepad. And when you come from the perspective of doing it yourself, I think you understand what business owners face, because we face the same things. Technology needs, dealing with those who are clients, as well as dealing with employees, agents. We understand because we're in the same boat, and that gives us a unique perspective in dealing with people and trying to help them.
Visit them at their headquarters in College Station or online at RolloInsurance.com.
Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max.
Tom Brady, he needs to retire, man. I understand we hate to talk negative about Tom Brady because it's the great one, right? He's 7 Super Bowls. I've been to 10 of them. What have you done? I get all of that. But right now, in his playing career, man, it's a sad-looking thing right now from what I remember Tom Brady as at the quarterback spot.
Listen in to Key, J. Will, and Max, powered by WC Tractor from 5 to 8 on the Zone.
Pretty baby, are you ready for me? Yeah, it's your good rockin' daddy down from Tennessee.
8:51 on 8:52. Clock just changed, guys. On a Thursday morning, you're listening to the Go Hour, presented by the Warehouse at CC Creations. Maroon U is your ultimate shop for brand name apparel, gifts, and accessories for the entire family. If you need to get last second Christmas gifts, which I know there's at least one person in this office right now who needs to do that.
Who's that? You?
Nah, I'm not going to say who it is.
Okay.
They know who it is on the inside. Right now, though, OB, it's time for That's Bullcrap, presented by Tom Line Plumbing. For service you can trust, contact Tom Line Plumbing. Great friend of Stephen McGee, longtime trusted plumber in and around the Brazos Valley. You can check them out at tomlyneplumbing.com. OB, what's bullcrap?
I don't know if I have anything new that I'm angry about.
Really?
Which is odd. Maybe it's because it's Christmas season. So I will say this. You know what's bullcrap? I mean, we've talked about guys that are decommitting like on signing day. That's kind of like bullcrap. A program made an investment in you, and then on signing day you change your mind, and that's bullcrap unless you're coming to A&M. And then it's fine. In fact, it's awesome. But beyond that, I'm just going to say it's bullcrap that Franco Harris passed away like 2 days, 3 days before he was going to be honored with his number retired and the 50th anniversary of the Immaculate Reception. I mean, nobody's at fault at that. It's a tragic event. It's really sad. And I'm not even a Steelers fan. In fact, I hate them. But Franco Harris, I remember watching that. I remember watching the Immaculate Reception when I was 11 years old in my neighbor Louis Rainer's living room, watching it, and just the idea. I mean, it's sad that anybody passes, obviously, but this idea that this was going to be such a monumental time in his life to
honor him and what he's done,
and then he passed away 2 days before. It's just, I don't know if it's bullcrap, but it is really sad and tragic.
Yeah. Oh, man, I got to follow that up. I was going to go really simple. I think it's bullcrap. Shouldn't lose at home to Wofford in basketball.
Oh, man, that was
not a fun way to spend your Tuesday afternoon matinee hoops there, was it, OB?
I was early in the game, in the second half, they were up by 10. And I'm thinking, they look like they're on their way to an unimpressive victory, but okay. Look, the kids they know it's almost Christmas time too. You wonder how focused anybody is, but to let that one go away to a team that just, 10 days before had gotten beaten by 22 by Georgia Southern. And you say, yeah, well, they played close games against LSU and Vanderbilt, and that's true. But, yeah, that was a hard one to take. And in the 2 of the last 3 years, A&M has started slow and finished strong, but they're really going to have to change some things to finish strong.
Turn it on. Yeah, I think so too. And that's kind of the thing. You have 2 games left before conference play starts on January 4th. The Aggies start at Florida on Wednesday. They've got Northwestern State at Reed Arena next Tuesday, and then next Friday, Prairie View A&M at home. I agree. We've seen them turn it on in the past. That's kind of been the MO under Buzz. As conference play, well, heck, not even conference play last year. They had the skid last year at the beginning of conference play. But towards the end of the year, they've got better. I just hope we see it quickly.
Yeah, you're going to. Well, you're either going to, because they're going to be in the same situation if they, in fact, maybe even worse, if they don't get off to a fast start in conference play. I mean, you lose to Wofford. I was writing about it that day. You almost, that's a loss in December that you're going to feel in March, even if you have a successful campaign in SEC play. If you're 11-7 in SEC play, and you're in the committees looking at it, and you're like, well, they lost to Wofford.
That's a loss that if you're sitting in the hotel lobby, if you're sitting in the hotel lobby like they were last year, and it doesn't go your way, that's the loss that says, man, maybe that's why.
See, last year they got hosed.
Agreed.
Not only did they finish strong and had that run through the SEC tournament, but you would look at it, and I'm trying to remember, did they have that loss that just stained?
I don't think last year I don't think they had that stained loss like what you're saying, but they also didn't have the
tremendous win. They had beaten
the Q1
the
win.
Q1. They had beaten Notre Dame, which got in though.
Yeah.
But they didn't have that one loss that you could look at it and say,
what the heck?
Yeah, this is awful. And now they have that.
It's time to turn it on.
I think you're going to see some guys start playing 30-plus minutes instead of a lot of guys playing in the 20s and teens. I think you're going to start finding out who the guys are most productive, and they're going to play most of the game.
It's time to set your rotation and roll with it.
And maybe do it earlier than you anticipated.
Yep. OB, thanks so much for coming in today. You didn't have to do that.
Hey, man, you know what? If there's a job to do, I'm here to do it. I'm like Kay Nagley.
Whoa.
Coming in. Just, even when you don't have to, coming in.
I always appreciate doing radio with you.
She said that I remind her of her dad today because apparently he likes Conway Twitty too.
Well, she said it multiple times.
He does.
Remind her of her dad. So,
except I'm older than her dad.
Yeah.
I covered her dad when he was in high school at White House High playing receiver.
Y'all just grew up the same. Y'all are the same person, Obi.
Okay, you don't want to say that, if we're being honest. That is Grandpa Buchanan closing out his time with us here on the Go Hour. Come back, John Harris, footballtakeover.com. Someone much smarter than me. We're going to talk a little football here on TexAgs Radio.
You can listen to Aggie football, basketball, and baseball on your Amazon Dot or Echo. Step 1, say, Alexa, enable Zone 1150 skill. Step 2, anytime you want to hear fighting Texas Aggie football, Texas A&M women's basketball, or Aggie baseball, all you have to do is say, Alexa, play Zone 1150. It's that simple to listen to your favorite A&M teams that play on the Zone with your Amazon Dot or Echo. Make sure to say one time, Alexa, enable Zone 1150 skill. Then say, Alexa, play Zone 1150.
Learning your child has cancer causes an emotional and financial crisis. Often, the best place for treatment is far from home. But with the help of the National Children's Cancer Society, children battling cancer can get to life-saving treatment, whether it's across town or across the country. To learn how we give families hope and give their children the best shot at survival, visit thenccs.org. That's THENCCS.org. Because no family should go through childhood cancer alone.
Your home for Aggie baseball. From the first game to the last game, Homer Road is Zone 1150 AM and 93.7 FM. Plus online at RadioAggieland.com. This is KZNE College Station Bryan.
From WTAW, I'm Chelsea Reber with a news update on the Zone. There's a fourth report of gunfire in Bryan since Saturday. A BPD spokesman tells WTAW News they do not appear to be random. The latest case was yesterday around 2 a.m. where no one was injured, but a home was struck on Westwood, Maine, which is west of Harvey Mitchell and south of Villa Maria. Gunfire on Saturday and Sunday resulted in people going to the hospital, and gunfire on Monday resulted in one person being treated at the scene. The operator of most of the Texas electric grid is expected to do a better job of communication during Winter Storm Elliott. That's according to the vice chairman of the ERCOT board, retired Congressman Bill Flores of Bryan.
One of the areas, for instance, where ERCOT really fell down during Winter Storm Uri is in communications. You had multiple people giving diverse messages to Texans, and that was inappropriate.
Flores says changes were made by ERCOT's new CEO, and he feels good about where ERCOT is due to the collective work that also includes the legislature, the governor, and the Public Utility Commission. A majority of Brazos County commissioners thought they were holding a workshop a week from today to discuss who would be on a committee to develop recommendations for a specialty criminal court for veterans. After the reminder from Commissioner Russ Ford during yesterday's meeting, County Judge Dwayne Peters said that was not going to happen.
I'm not sure that gives any time for all of the folks that we've already discussed that need to be involved in it. I'm not sure that, there's almost no way in the Christmas holidays to make that happen.
Ford and Irma Cawley wanted a workshop before the end of the year because they're leaving the elected body. The Brazos County Health District has announced 2 more distributions of free rapid COVID home tests. 2 boxes with 4 tests per box will be given at the Health District office today from 8 until 2 and next Wednesday through Friday. Businesses and not-for-profit organizations can contact the Health District to obtain larger quantities as available. For more news, go online to WTAW.com. I'm Chelsea Reber on The Zone.
As a real estate agent in the Brazos Valley, we have a few questions for you. Do you desire to grow your business? Are you passionate about exceeding client expectations? Would you rather work with a local company backed by Compass, the largest independent brokerage in America? What are you waiting for? Lone Star Realty Group, a strong local brand with instant recognition, awaits your move. Contact William Sears at LoneStarBCS.com. Your success is just a click away. Lone Star Realty. Experience, integrity, results. An equal opportunity employer.
Since 1957, Slovacek Sausage in Snook has been making the best tasting sausage in Texas from the same family recipe. Slovacek is the official sausage of Texas A&M Athletics. Whether it's from the grill to the family gathering or from the pit to the neighborhood party, serve the sausage voted best in the Brazos Valley. Serve Slovacek. Be sure to come in and check out their full-service meat market, relax on the front porch, or grab some fresh kolaches from their bakery on your way out. Slovacek Sausage, Highway 60 in Snook.
Good morning, sports fans. I'm Zach Taylor with your Aggie Sports Minute on The Zone. The Sports Minute is brought to you by Hilco Metal Roofing and Supply. Call 936-825-0500 or click HilcoSupply.com. Yesterday was early National Signing Day for Texas A&M football. The Aggies inked 16 players in all, but Coach Jimbo Fisher says he isn't done yet.
There's still some other guys that on their signing days and when they're going to announce and do their work will be coming in, and then we'll continue to add to this class. Like I say, now recruiting, with the way recruiting is now, this is just the first part of it. So it's ever extending, and we'll keep going.
The signing period is set to officially end on February 2nd. Nothing doing for A&M women's basketball yesterday as it fell to Purdue 59-53. Junior guard KK Green after the loss.
So we're still young, figuring everything out, and we just have to execute better coming down the stretch. You know, we had them 49-49, and we made, 3 turnovers or empty possessions, and we couldn't capitalize off those. So going forward, just capitalize on the small things, and we'll be fine.
Green finished with a team-high 14 points for the Maroon and White, which falls to 5-5 on the year. And staying on the court, former A&M women's coach Gary Blair has been nominated for the Naismith Memorial Basketball Hall of Fame. Blair holds the 12th most wins in Division I history with 852 and helped lead the Ags to a national championship in 2011. And that's been your Aggie Sports Minute, brought to you by Hilco Metal Roofing and Supply. On The Zone, I'm Zach Taylor.
Everything in life has rules, and The Zone has prize rules for all contesting. You can check them out at zone1150.com. You may know you can win once every 30 days. There can only be one winner per household per month. You have 30 days to pick up your prizes. You have to be 18 or older to win. You have to present a legal ID to claim your prize. All prizes are non-transferable and not for resale. To make sure you do know all the rules, or if you have any questions about the prize rules, make sure to visit zone1150.com.
Zone1150.com.
.905 on a Thursday morning, the final episode of TexAgs Radio before a little Christmas break. I'll be back again next Tuesday hosting the show here from the Rollo Insurance Studio. You're listening to TexAgs Radio presented by David Gardner's Jewelers. And right now we want to go out to the hotline to talk to one of the smartest football men I know. And I'm super appreciative that he took the time to join me today, Mr. John Harris. John, don't look around and act like you think I'm talking to somebody else. You know who I'm talking to.
You talking about somebody else?
No.
You talking to somebody else, Dalton? Come on, man.
Nah, man, talking to you.
How you doing, buddy? It's good to see you as opposed to that really pretty made-up face of David Nuno.
Exactly. See, wear something ridiculous so people focus less on the face, more on what you're wearing. This ain't my first rodeo.
You can get me with the hockey sweater any day of the week, man. I absolutely love sport. I wish Houston had a team, but, you know, it is what it is. But when I was in college, a long time ago, going to college in Northeast, man, one of the funnest things to do is go to college hockey games. Oh, I mean, I just loved it. And here's the other one. I used to go to the women's games too. I knew more of the women's hockey players, and they were awesome. I mean, it was kind of strange to think that the goalie for the hockey team was really hot, but she was. So, you know, but that's just, it's a different world, I guess, at that point. But yeah, I used to go watch all the hockey games, man. It was so much fun being in college a long time ago. Go to college and enjoy it, people.
Exactly. Well, see, that's why I came here and never left, John. But not surprising that the guy from Brown appreciates some hockey. Right now, though, John, let's talk some football. JohnHarrisFootballTakeover.com with us. So, Reuben Owens, I know you're down there and you know football. What did Mr. John Harris see from Reuben Owens? Because I know you've seen something.
Woo. Yeah, I mean, El Campo Rice Birds. It's funny, getting a chance to talk to people around the city. One of my good friends, Joe Gleason, from ABC 13, who David knows really, really well from David's years at ABC 13. And I was asking Joe about Reuben because back in high school, we used to play El Campo. We got scoreboard over El Campo because the last 2 years, we knocked them out of the playoffs one year, and then we beat them for the district championship in the final game my senior year. So take that, El Campo. But I asked him about Reuben Owens, and he kind of looked at me and said, boy, he's electric. I mean, he is dynamic. He is everything you want. And I said, do you think the Louisville thing sticks? And he goes, I don't know. He's got a lot of people sort of pulling at him. I don't know. Well, in the end, I'm glad that the home school, if you will, the closest school really tugged at his heartstrings, because I think he can come in and be a dynamic piece in this offense. Obviously, A-Chain going to the NFL. Not sure if I've heard about Anias yet. I don't know. Has that been made public yet? If he is or not, I haven't heard it.
He still is yet to announce anything where we sit today.
Yeah, Owens brings just that different gear that you need in this conference. And obviously, we got the TexAgs Texas Bowl coming here, and Quinshon Judkins is a guy who's a true freshman that stepped in next to Zach Evans and said, hey, I can do this just as much as you can. And not only that, by the end of the year, I'm doing it better than anybody, arguably, in the SEC. So I think as a true freshman, he can have an impact in this offense. If you've got it right with Connor and the offensive line starts to get into shit and they can stay healthy, then I think you could take a guy like Reuben Owens and put him in that offense like A-Chain did when he was a freshman. You think back to 2020. And you think back to that bowl game against North Carolina, and everybody's watching going, hey, who's number 6? That guy's pretty good. And, yeah, it's like that's the impact that he can have on this offense right away. So I'm pumped. For anybody coming from El Campo, I mean, old rivals, and played a lot of games there, baseball, basketball, football growing up. So I'm always cheering for those guys, and hopefully Reuben comes in there and does what a lot of people think he can do.
You know, it's funny you mentioned Quinshon Judkins. It takes me to this. How important or valuable is a dynamic running back in today's game, right? Not the guy. It's not old school football where we're just going to hand it off and give it to you. How important is that to have guys that can do so many things? And we were watching Reuben's highlights earlier. A guy that can catch the ball out of the backfield too. That's such a different dynamic in today's football.
Totally. And at every level of football, Dalton, I think what's really interesting is to watch that dynamic of running backs, because when you talk to NFL types and scouts, and obviously I live in an NFL building and you see it, it's, well, look, we can go get a running back anytime. But what's happening in the league is you're seeing teams going and getting a couple of running backs, and you're seeing teams put higher draft picks on running backs. The Jets had Michael Carter. they had drafted the year before, and he had done some really good things. But then they drafted Breece Hall at the top of the second round, and all of a sudden, boom, they're going to have this combination. And then they lose Breece Hall, but then they drafted Zonovan Bam Knight later. So now they still got that combo, Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt. The Cowboys, we saw it up close with Zeke and with Tony Pollard. Teams now are devoting efforts to a couple of running backs because you're seeing lighter boxes. You're seeing, 5 guys line up in the box and then a safety is coming down. Well, if that safety is not a great tackler, then it really doesn't matter whether he's filling up in the alley or he's filling one of the gap responsibilities or not. You're going to run the football. You're going to see a light box. You're going to run the football. And so with the Vic Fangio, Brandon Staley type defenses where you start in a lot of too high, but yeah, they're going to roll a guy into the box. But hey, that's fine. Teams are saying, all right, cool, bring that safety down. We'll still run the ball. So I'm seeing it in the league now that more teams are devoting more opportunities to running backs maybe than I can remember since I've been in the league in 2014. And I think that's kind of filtering down to the college level too. And maybe it's filtering up. Maybe it's filtering. Maybe it's going the other way. Maybe we're seeing it more at the college level and it's going up to the NFL and we're just late reacting to it. But when I think about like Ole Miss and I think about Judkins and Evans, if you were to go into a deep freeze in 2019, 2020, like in Star Wars, and you got out of it in 2022 and you said, okay, give me your impressions of Lane Kiffin. Oh, he throws the ball around the yard, man. He's got this high-flying offense. It's like, wait a second. It's a high-flying offense, but it's because those two guys are – and Lane is devoted to the run game. I mean, even to the point where Dana Holgorsen, who runs the air raid, has changed his offense to be a little bit more run-centric than it ever used to be. So I think you're seeing it at all levels of football where the running game has become that much more important than it's been. Now, does it result in teams running the ball 45, 50 times a game? Does it result in teams in the NFL making first-round picks of running backs again? I don't know where it goes. I just know that the running backs have become that much more important. And you brought up the best part, Dalton, and that is, can that guy catch the ball? Can we leave that guy on the field all 3 downs and he can be a threat in the pass game? And I think of Austin Eckler. Eckler's, a guy that the Chargers had that's he was undrafted. But he said, I'll do anything. And mainly one of those things was catch the ball. Well, our run defense is not great. And we kind of slowed the Chargers run game down. So the Chargers are like, well, we still got to get the ball to Eckler. So they threw it to him 5 times in the fourth quarter or something like that. And he scored 2 touchdowns to beat us. And, when you have a guy like that, that's got the ability to catch the ball out of the backfield and be comfortable doing that. Like I thought, A-Chain was and is. It's just this year he became more of a, run between the tackles kind of guy. It's kind of like the transition Reggie Bush made. You have a guy like that, I mean, it's gold. If that guy can't catch a cold and you got to take him off the field, well, now you become that much more predictable. Oh, hey, that guy's in the backfield. They're running. That's a run. Now all of a sudden defenses are very intelligent. They know how to handle that when it's a guy they know is going to run the football. Play action's off the table because they're not going to throw it to him. That's going to be a giveaway. But if you have a guy back there and they're like, I don't know, that's Owens. What could that be? Yeah. And then move him. Watch a guy like that move out of the backfield and defenses panic. They're like, what do we do with that? So there's a lot of different avenues you can go with a guy that's got dynamic ability like Owens has. So I'm curious to see what Jimbo or whatever that offense wants to be. I'm curious to see how they're able to use those skills of Reuben Owens.
Well, you talked about Jimbo and the offense. Everyone knows Aggie's still looking for an offensive coordinator right now. And I want to go back. You're talking about Dana and Lane and the air raid, and obviously with the passing of Mike Leach lately, everyone's talking about the air raid and where he got his start. And you talk about all the air raid was creating spaces and we're going to throw it there.
Yep.
I think I saw something the other day. It was, how do I turn the triple option into throw it to where everybody can get the ball on every play? What are you seeing from these air raid guys? To me, it almost feels like we're spreading the field and we're using spaces, but now we're seeing that come back to, well, hey, it's cyclical, right? Football's cyclical. Now everybody's moving out to stop the pass, and now we're going to use the space we created in the middle of the field and run it down your throat.
Absolutely. I had a talk with Chris Pesman, the AD at University of Houston. He's got to be a friend of mine. We were talking about hiring Dana Holgorsen. And one of the things that Chris had to be convinced of was the fact that it's not throwing the ball 65 times a game, that it's, there's a run focus to it, but there's a run focus to it for the exact reason that you brought up, Dalton. That is the run game is a massive part of it. And I think, Tennessee is a great example. The Bryles offense has been a huge impact in the college game as well. Jeff Lebby's running it at Oklahoma. You obviously have Kendall running it at Arkansas. And then Josh Heupel's taken those concepts to Tennessee. And they do the same thing. They use the space to get their fast receivers out wide on DBs one-on-one. But what it's also done is it's given them a lot of room to maneuver with the run game. And you're right, it's cyclical. It comes back. But coaches are smart. They see how defenses are trying to play them. And they're like, well, look, that overhang player that could be a run defender is kind of have to worry about that twin set out there. So you know what? We're not considering him in a box. And now we're looking at a 5-man box. Boom, run the football. Now, defenses are smart too. So now they start to make changes like, okay, we're going to leave that overhang player, but as soon as you put it in his belly, boom, here we come. Well, what came off of that? RPOs. All right, you're going to come now. We're going to throw that sticker out right behind you. Now you're just playing the chess game. And so teams have gotten to a point where they're just kind of monkeying around with, okay, how do we play this? And Lane Kiffin and some others have just said, well, forget it. We're just going to hand it off. We're going to run the football. And, if it comes to where those guys are getting anxious, because there are very few people that can get out, as an overhang player and play it like you're supposed to. You start getting antsy, like, okay, here comes the run. And then boom, they throw it behind you. Well, okay, they're going to throw this next one. Bang, you can hit that run. So it's interesting, and it always has been the chess match that goes with just that aspect of space. How do you handle all that space as a defense? What are you going to do? How do you use the safeties to come down and interchange? How do you use your linebackers? Do you play more of a penny front where you've got, traditionally 5 down linemen with one linebacker with, a nickel or a defensive back type that plays kind of that other linebacker? And because that guy's quicker, can he play the RPOs better? So it's really been over the years kind of watching that chess match evolve. It's been really cool to see it come back to, well, we're just going to hit you in the mouth and run the football.
Well,
and that's cool. I like that. I like it. I like it coming back to that to make it a little bit more physical game. So now you're seeing teams, hey, man, we need a little bit more fat. We need big dudes now. And then it's probably going to go back, and it's going to be like this for a while. It's a cyclical game. And, at some point, somebody might bring daggum wishbone back. Who knows, man? I don't know. Maybe somebody go learn it from Navy and bring it back in some different way, shape, or form, and then sell to everybody as something new when really it's just what Oklahoma ran the triple option a long time ago.
I did not expect to get here where I'm going to get with this question when we started today. Talk about someone you're saying, bully football. What makes Kyle Shanahan and what the 49ers are doing so great? I think this brings in this whole conversation we've had, right? Because that's 2 running backs. That's McCaffrey. And if you want to consider Debo a running back, which I think you have to,
yeah.
And then the tight end play, that's old school football, but it's dressed up in a new way that I appreciate watching what the 49ers do.
Yeah, it is interesting to watch it, Dawn, because, Kyle, that offense has evolved out of Mike Shanahan's offense that Gary Kubiak ran here with the Texans. And it's like that movie, I think it was called Multiplicity. It had Michael Keaton long time ago. And he couldn't do all the tasks that he wanted to do during a day. So he went out and he cloned himself. But every single clone ended up being that much more different than the clone that came before. And that's kind of the way it is right now. You look at Kyle Shanahan and you can see that Mike Shanahan offense, that zone game, bootleg offense. And you could see that here with Gary Kubiak, but there was some evolution to it. Now Kyle's taken it and it's gone to a totally different realm. And you're just seeing unique things from the 49ers, kind of the way that they package things, how they get to certain blocks, like the way that they run a zone play might be different than the way that his dad ran it, where you just had zone blocking all the way across. But the rules have changed, and so there's certain things you can't do on the backside. So now what they do is they might fold block the front side, meaning a guy might block down and a center will wrap around. It's still a zone play, but it's packaged and it looks different. And they're also taking advantage of the movement of the defensive line, but they're doing so many different things, in particular in the run game, that you look up and go, "What?" I mean, I can't tell you how many times, though, I've been watching the Niners, and I haven't been watching them real closely because we don't play them.
Right.
But I obviously watch them on Thursday nights and wherever. So it's really interesting to watch them. I'm watching the other team, trying to see what the other team's doing, and I keep stopping myself going, dang, what did they do here? Oh, that's cool. But again, it goes back to and Thursday night, if you remember the George Kittle touchdown, I thought it was really interesting, taking the cyclical conversation, a full 360, if you will. That throw to Kittle, everybody's like, oh my God, he faked it here, he faked it there. And I'm like, I ran that play back in 1994. My junior high kids, because I learned it from Auburn. I saw Auburn do it in 1994 against Florida. It's one of the greatest games I've ever seen. It was incredible. And Auburn did it they did the same way. Fake it, and the tight end would just slide right in with nobody blocking for him, and it just opened like the Red Sea. And then he caught it, boom. They ran at least 3 or 4 times. I then ran it for every year that I was coaching, and it was money. So when everybody's freaking out, I'm like, they did that back in 1994, but because it was packaged a little differently, and all of a sudden you got Generation Z or whatever watching, they're like, that's the coolest thing I've ever seen. I'm like, dude, I was running a play 30 years ago. Come on, give me credit. Anyways,
you were running it 30 years ago, but you didn't have George Kittle. That was probably the biggest difference.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, Brad Duttera was not George Kittle. So that was a little different, but it's just the way that Kyle is packaging things that they still get to the same thing. But then there are different wrinkles, and I go back to the playoff game against Green Bay, which Detroit then built off of, because in the playoff game against Green Bay, they put Trent Williams in motion, but then they ran it. Then Detroit said, ha, I got one for you. They put Penei Sewell in motion, and then they threw it to him. So I love the fact that coaches are the best thieves or best borrowers, depending on how you want to look at it. And it's okay to look at something somebody did and went, I'm going to use that, because we all do. But then you get some of the special ones that are like, yeah, well, we were doing it this way, but here's our wrinkle we're putting on it and making it ours. And I think that's really cool. And whoever comes in to be the offensive coordinator at A&M and how that's going to come to fruition, I just hope it's somebody that has that sort of philosophy that, look, we don't get away from, we want to hit you in the mouth, but it may not always be just a straight right hand. There might be different ways. There are different ways that we can land the punches. It's not just going to be jab, 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 because that's just what we do. It's going to be jab, overhand, jab, combination. There's going to be different things. And I think that will help the A&M offense going forward with whoever goes in there. And hopefully Jimbo learned something from this year, that there's got to be more diversity. And obviously you got to keep guys healthy, but you got to have some diversity to this offense. You got to get your quarterback confident, and then you got to expand what everybody does week after week after week. And then you can't worry about whether the receiver wears sleeves or not.
John Harris with us at footballtakeover.com. John, before we let you go, anything new on the website we can send people to check out?
Yeah, man. I'm going to have my newest Harris 100 hopefully in the next week or so. But if you want to check out the one from the summer and see where I had guys. Now, I got to adjust it because I had in my summer Harris 100, I had Edgerrin Cooper in my top 100. I can't remember, 85, 86. So obviously I have to take him out, but I'm glad he's going back to A&M. But you'll see what I thought on Antonio Johnson. And obviously he might move up my list a little bit more the more I study him this year. But yeah, the Harris 100 that's my bell cow, and I'll be updating that pretty much weekly throughout draft season. We're almost there. And unfortunately, the team that I work for might have pick number 1. So we'll see how that goes.
You'll be all over it, John. Hey, man, appreciate you taking the time to join us. Merry Christmas to you and the family, man. We'll talk to you again soon.
Absolutely, brother. Merry Christmas to you and all the Ags out there. Dalton's great catching up with you, brother.
Yep. That's John Harris with us on the hotline. When we come back, a little bit of an open segment. We'll read some texts, see what Kay's got over in the social center. You're listening to TexAgs Radio, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers.
Hey, it's David Nuno here. It's the holiday time and a great time to think about Chance McClain and Heritage Films, because you probably had a couple great events throughout the week, and you're like, God, I wish we could have like captured it and told this story, not with my iPhone, but like a legit crew. If you haven't thought about it, you should, because that's what Chance does. He does family stories, and he does these in documentary form, like Netflix-style documentaries, where he can tell your family story. Your dad tells his story about how the family started, his grandfather, and it becomes a chain of events, and then later on, your kids get to see the story. They get to share it with their kids, and your family story is preserved. And that's what Chance McClain does so well. Down-to-earth guy, has done all these great things. You know, he's done Broadway musicals, movies, red carpet shows, started a radio station, actually hired me back in the day, and he is just awesome what he does. 8 to 10 week process. He is a slave to it, too. He wants to get your story done right. The website is yourheritagefilm.com, yourheritagefilm.com, 713-893-8341, 713-893-8341.
Merry Christmas.
Season's greetings to you and your family.
Merry Christmas to all the military and all the troops everywhere across the world.
From TexAgs Radio.
I'm Chelsea Reber with your community calendar on the Zone. Join the Brazos Valley Cowboy Church for a Christmas Eve candlelight service at 5 p.m. For more information about becoming a master gardener, Brazos County gardening best practices, or other gardening events, visit brazosmg.com. Al-Anon is a mutual support program for people whose lives have been affected by someone else's drinking. Join them Sundays at 7:30 p.m. at A&M United Methodist Church. SARC offers free and confidential services to anyone affected by sexual assault in the Brazos Valley. If you or someone you know is in need, call 979-731-1000. Newly formed cancer support groups are available for cancer patients, survivors, and caregivers the fourth Monday of each month. For more information, go online to mendingheartsgriefcenter.org. Merry Christmas and happy holidays to you and your family from the Zone 1150 AM and 93.7 FM. That's your community calendar. I'm Chelsea Reber on the Zone.
The flagship station for Aggie athletics is The Zone. Whenever the Aggies are playing, you can hear them right here at 1150 and 93.7 FM. Thanks to our listeners and Aggie broadcast sponsors, Zwerneman Flooring, Lance Lester at the Lester Group, Specs Wine, Spirits, and Finer Foods, and Amarillo National Bank. Here's a big gig to all these sponsors. Listen to Aggie Athletics on The Zone 1150 and 93.7 FM.
Looking for the Zone prize rules? Would you like to apply for a job at the Zone? Or need a phone number or email for the Zone? Visit zone1150.com. Would you like to sign up for the Zone All Access newsletter? Looking for podcasts of TexAgs Radio, The Louis Bellina Show, or Chip Howard? Or would you like to see the Zone's daily schedule? Visit zone1150.com. For more information, any questions, to contact us for everything and anything about the Zone, visit zone1150.com.
There is a house in New Orleans.
928 TexAgs Radio, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers. We are inside the Rollo Insurance Studio. Hi, Richard Zane.
Hey, buddy.
There was a thread on the boards that thought you had died. Is that why you're making an appearance to let everybody know you're alive?
What was that all about? They were like, has he been banished? He's banned from TexAgs Radio. He's banned from the airwaves. And as much as Lucci would like to do that, he hasn't done it yet. So
I would also like to do it. No, you're still here.
Yeah.
Entered the transfer portal.
No. Okay, that's how rumors get started. I did not ever once consider entering the transfer portal. I'm just a locker room guy who helps out behind the scenes rather than on the gridiron.
Richard
on Saturdays.
has grad school, and so that makes
grad school is
busy.
in quotation marks. It is.
Oh wait, no, that's real.
It is real.
Hey Kay, you got any text for us over there on the A and B text line?
I do. Peruna in College Station said, "Watch Reuben Owens this past fall when El Campo played Navasota. He is different than any running back I've seen since Herky Walls. Fast maneuvers like a whisper of a thought and is intelligent. He is a home run threat."
Richard,
Herky Walls?
I don't know who
all
that is.
name team.
Yeah, for sure. Hey, Richard, if we're mentioning the Rice Birds, can you do your fake brawny talking about going to El Campo?
Hey, I got to get on the road. I'm going down to El Campo. Got to watch Reuben and the Rice Birds.
Great stuff.
Perfect, wasn't it? Kay, what'd you think? Perfect
It was pretty good.
Yeah.
Pretty
Nick, your judge?
I do a good brawny.
Nick?
Maybe like
say that again. Sorry, I was reading
reacting to an
no, we were
email
just
then.
asking what you thought of my Bronninger.
That's pretty good. Yeah, it's always spot on.
Yeah, and I can do Hal too. Hey man.
Hey man.
Hey
See,
man.
it's post signing day, so we got to clown on those guys a little bit. Richard, have you gotten a text yet about our attire? Because that's what we were going for.
No, but obviously Dalton went reverse retro. I went actual retro. I also went with the Stanley Cup championship hat from the year I was born, but I was born in January, so I was alive for it. I also brought this A&M puck since we need that for the desk.
Nice.
It is the hockey hour. Just kidding, because Lucci's going to try and fire us. But Billy,
No, we can't do
Uncle
that.
Billy, I know you're listening. I'm eyeing your vest upstairs, man.
Oh,
you
it's
still
still up
haven't
there?
picked it up. Yeah.
Still up there. We can't do the hockey half hour until Andrew Monaco joins
Dude, that
us.
was so funny yesterday. We go to Jimbo Fisher's press conference yesterday, 1 o'clock. We listened to him talk about the A&M's 2023 signing class. And as we're getting our content out, Kay's editing her notes. We're putting the press conference video on the site. We're talking with the voice of the Aggies about hockey on early signing day. Mind blown. It was
Galaxy
a lot
brain.
of fun, dude. Andrew Monaco is a blast. He can talk about any sports topic, about any sport. It's awesome.
Absolutely great guy. Richard, what are you going to do with a couple of days off here?
Okay, so as you all know, I'm Jewish. Last night was the 4th night of Hanukkah, but my mom converted, so her side of the family obviously got some Christmas celebrations. I'm going to San Marcos tomorrow to see my grandmother, and then we'll meet up with one of my aunts and their family to do the whole Christmas. My mom grew up in Corpus Christi, so Christmas Eve we'll do the South Texas chili and tamales thing, and then Saturday we'll have a Christmas meal somewhere in the Austin area. So I'll see my aunt, my grandmother, some cousins. It'll be fun.
How excited are you to watch?
Oh,
Fighting
yeah, I
Texas
forgot about
Aggie
that. Yeah,
Dan
New Year's
Campbell.
Eve, we're definitely going to be watching Dan Campbell. Dude, I'm so excited.
New Year's Eve, he's going to play on Christmas Eve.
Christmas Eve, sorry. I think he might play New Year's Eve. No, he plays New Year's Day, I think.
I think they play New Year's Day.
Christmas Eve with Dan Campbell. They got the Panthers on the road. The Lions should win. It would be their 7th of 8th if they can pull it out. And
the only game they lost.
As somebody who grew up a Lions fan and had to suffer through an 0-16 season, to say that the Lions are on a stretch where they could possibly have won 7 out of 8 games with a fighting Texas Aggie leading the charge, and another fighting Texas Aggie serving as the defensive coordinator, and another fighting Texas Aggie as a really big impact receiver in Josh Reynolds. Dude, that's insane to me. I think if the Lions make the playoffs this year, I don't think there's any doubt that Dan Campbell should be Coach of the Year in the NFL. With all due respect to Mr. Sirianni in Philadelphia, but I mean, that's what a ride that has been.
It's been great to watch Dan. We've heard Dan stories from Billy since we've worked here. And then it was really cool watching Hard Knocks and seeing all of the Dan stories come out in real life on HBO. That was really cool. And now it's awesome to see Dan parlaying all that stuff from Hard Knocks into a great season.
Well, we have on our whiteboard at our house, because Dalton and I are roommates, and they were roommates, we have a Dan Campbell quote written on a whiteboard, and my mom was asking about it, so we had to explain to her the origin of the one butt cheek and 3 toes comment that he said on Hard Knocks. To have him be the head coach of my favorite football team, or my favorite NFL team, is pretty special.
It's great stuff.
Richard, we have a question from Nick.
From Nick Savage?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
He just talked to my ear. He wanted to know your Carlos Correa.
Dude, that is the funniest thing. Obviously, I am not a Carlos Correa fan for what he did to the Dodgers in 2017 and his role in the cheating scandal. But man, to see him spurn the San Francisco Giants is hilarious. It would have been like if Anthony Hill on signing day had not signed with the University of Texas and had instead gone and signed with like Notre Dame, another team I don't like. But just to see the Longhorns get upset, just to see the Giants get upset, fantastic. Nick, I know you enjoyed it. We had a few laughs yesterday at like 6 a.m. together.
It's signing day. We're trying to get going, getting the caffeine into me, and Richard walks into the office full belly laughing about Carlos Correa and the Giants.
That was pretty fantastic.
Thank you for that. Hey, any suggestions of what I should talk to Torres about?
College basketball. I honestly, now that signing day's in the rear view, it's time to actually start focusing on college basketball. So the national look will be good. That's why I said
see what your boy Jawan did last night.
Did he slap somebody? No, I know he lost.
He may have shrugged like a player off.
Oh, I didn't see that. No.
Yeah, it's all right. He just needs to stick to doing the cabbage patch on the sidelines and quit fighting people.
Well, at least he didn't slap an opposing coach again.
Well, that did happen. Will Smith style, as it were, as we talked about last night. All right, Richard, thanks for coming in here for a minute.
Boom.
Boom. Yes, knuckle touch.
Hey, are bonita fish big?
Well, yeah. They're a trophy fish, so they're pretty big. When we come back, we'll talk to Aaron Torres of Fox Sports Radio. You're listening to TexAgs Radio, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers.
Hey everyone, David Nuno here. I'm hungry, so I'm thinking about Fargo's Pit Barbecue. They are in Bryan, South Texas Avenue. That's where you'll find them, 1701 South Texas Avenue. Open Tuesday through Saturday, 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. They are closed, though, on Sunday and Monday to make you think about it. Call them up for their specials, 979-778-3662. 979-778-3662. If you haven't been to that new location, you're missing out because they are one of the top 50 barbecue joints in the world, according to Texas Monthly, and they don't lie about that kind of stuff. It is that good. They've got amazing food. Their secret is, well, everything about it. I mean, it's no secret. Everybody knows. The sauce is great. The food is great. The experience is great. The food is just delicious. Really, that kind of place. Alan and Belinda and Maurice, a great crew out there. They'll take wonderful care of you when you go there and check out Fargo's Pit Barbecue. Remember, they've been around for about 22 years, and they do great work. It is Fargo, 1701 South Texas Avenue in Bryan. Without a doubt, the best barbecue in town. That's their trademark because it's true. It's Fargo's.
He's got the moves with the wit of Larry David.
What are you doing here?
Olin Buchanan, mornings at 8 on TexAgs Radio, here on The Zone.
Here's Brad Beard of Intercon.
When we started Intercon in early 1991, we were well aware that we would be competing with some companies that use unscrupulous techniques to make a quick sale, such as bait and switch, or 40% off if you commit today, or misleading, incomplete quotes. Intercon's practice is to be completely honest and encourage prospective customers to talk to our former customers. We've encouraged customers to get multiple quotes. We are confident and proud of our value proposition for windows, glass, and solar screens. We never want anyone to rush into a decision they will regret in the future. Just remember, warranties are only as good as the people who provide them and are servicing the area when situations arise. This is our home and only marketplace, and we will protect our home turf. You've probably heard the saying, the buck stop here, and that is with me, Brad Beard, president and co-owner of Intercon, LLC.
Whether you have new construction or an existing home, let the fine folks from Intercon help your home energy efficiency year-round. Call Brad Beard of Intercon today at 823-3639. That's 823-3639.
If you have a debit card, you're used to spending money. But what if your card actually ended up earning you money? That's not exactly normal, but that's what you can get at A&B. It's called Kasasa Cashback Checking. Don't mind the weird name. What you need to know is that it's a free account with cash rewards. Use your debit card for everyday purchases, and we'll pay you cash back every month. If that doesn't sound like normal banking, well, guess what? We're not a normal bank. So contact A&B today and ask for Kasasa or visit ANB.com. Equal housing lender, member FDIC.
The college football bowl season on The Zone is brought to you by Hungry Howie's. You can hear listening to the Orange Bowl, the Rose Bowl, the Sugar Bowl, Fiesta Bowl, Peach Bowl, Citrus, Cotton, and so much more, all on the Zone 1150 AM and 93.7 FM, all on ESPN Radio. The bowl season, the most wonderful season of them all on The Zone, is brought to you by Hungry Howie's, the home of the flavored crust.
9:39 on Thursday morning, December the 22nd. I'm Dalton Hughes in this morning for David Nuno. You're listening to TexAgs Radio, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers. It's our final show before the holiday break, and we want to go straight out to the hotline. A little Californication brought us back, because we're going out to California, I'm assuming. Talk to Aaron Torres of Fox Sports Radio, the Aaron Torres Podcast. AT, good morning.
What's up, Mr. Big Time Executive? I used to talk to you every Thursday when I came on. Now you're up in the corporate suite, doing God knows what with God knows who. I miss you, man. How you been?
I've been good, man. I wouldn't say I'm in a different suite. I'm actually still in the same office, Just some different office hours. I let Nick handle the morning, and I'll handle the afternoon, evening, into the night things that happen.
Oh, okay. Into the night, the darkness of the night. How you been, man? Everything good?
I've been good, man. Yeah, just got through the football season. We got through National Signing Day yesterday. I know you've covered a lot of that on the transfer portal stuff on the Aaron Torres podcast. You're talking to Travis Hunter, who is now going to Colorado. But, yeah.
Can I ask you a question really quick?
You can ask me
you a question?
Whatever you want.
Okay, so this time last year, and it was really more February, and then it was May, Texas A&M, off of an 8-4 season, where you just beat Alabama. The year before, you go 9-1 and almost make the college football playoff. They signed the number 1 class in the country. Oh, my goodness. They must be doing something nefarious. Now, Miami, coming off a 5-7 season, not 8-4 like A&M, 5-7. Looked it up this morning to make sure I didn't miss anything. Their best win was maybe Virginia. Maybe Virginia Tech didn't have a very good year. They have no fan experience at that stadium. They went 7-5 the year before. So you can't sit there and say, well, they whatever. All I hear is, oh, Mario Cristobal, what a recruiter. And I know they didn't finish number 1 overall, and I know Bama and Georgia finished 1 and 2. I'm just at, how come Mario Cristobal is just a great recruiter, but Jimbo Fisher must be doing something illegal? Explain that to me, Dalton.
From where I sit, which I don't know what my opinion means, it's because people just don't seem to like Texas A&M, and that was just another excuse to, well, we're going to go at them for that. Billy talked about it a lot yesterday morning on our signing day show, going at the people that, yeah, A&M had a down year. Yeah, the class this year is not what it was last year, but there does seem to be a double standard when it comes to talking about Texas A&M signing a great class versus other teams.
Well, no, for sure. And you mentioned kind of my show, and I actually talked about this a little bit on I talked about the Drake May rumors on my show the other day, and that was one thing that I said. I said, so everybody, one, in the media, and then two, the casual fan is like, there's no way he got offered $5 million. So wait a second. A&M can offer $1 million to every recruit in their class, including a 3-star punter. And that's totally believable. Dalton, I almost called you Billy. I've talked to Billy like twice in my life. That's totally believable, Dalton, that the 3-star punter is getting $1 million, but nobody's offering the literal top 5 NFL draft pick $5 million. Like that seems like a pretty good double standard to me. And then I'll say this: I know no one at A&M cares about Pat Narduzzi, but it is funny. Like when Lane Kiffin calls out Jimbo Fisher, it's the funniest thing in the world. Or when Lane Kiffin calls out people without naming names, but you know who they're talking about, it's the funniest thing in the world. When Pat Narduzzi does it, oh, he's an old, angry guy that's mad that the sport is changing in front of his eyes. So the double standards are incredible, and I did talk a little bit about this on my pod. Listen, whatever people are paying, these are the rules that are currently in place. I don't really care. What does annoy me, though, is the double standard around all of it.
Absolutely. And by the way, this is around college football. I'm probably going to get to a little basketball, brought to you by Milliken Reserve, College Station community featuring homes, trails, farms, and wide open spaces with a mission to build healthy community around nature. Take part in the Milliken Reserve community with a Conservancy membership. You can learn more at millikenreserve.com. AT, did I see this correctly? Did you go see your Yukon Huskies play football in December? In a bowl game?
I was trying to go. I did not go, unfortunately. I was so mad. Yeah, it was a quick turnaround. I have to actually travel next week for the new year, and it was a quick turnaround. Huskies did play in a bowl game on Monday, the Myrtle Beach Bowl. I actually had a lot of people that I knew that were there. Disappointed I could not go. But no, I was not there. I did not travel. I really, really, really wanted to go. But great first season. 6 wins, gets bowl eligible under new head coach Jim Mora. Yes, I am wearing my UConn hat here during my interview. But I did not go, Dalton, unfortunately. See, if you were still coming on every morning and you weren't up in the corporate suite, you would have known that I didn't go. But that's okay, neither here nor there.
Well, the last time we talked and you told me, yeah, I'm going to try to join you, but I'm probably going to be coming off travel because I'm trying to go to the game. So,
okay.
That was the last conversation that we had. Hey, well, how about this then? College football, it's bowl season. We've hit some bowls that people know this week. It really picks up after Christmas. What's a couple of games that you're looking forward to, either on the gambling side or just casual sports watching fan? Because remember, nobody complains about college football games. It doesn't matter who's playing, at least not here. We're not going to allow it.
I agree. Like, if first of all, we do this every year. Oh, there's too many bowl games, they stink. It's like, well, when you let in 84 teams, you're going to have some clunkers, especially early. But as the better teams get in, the competition level is going to pick up, et cetera. And so, listen, the games I'm most excited about, I think it goes without saying, outside of the playoff, I am interested by the Sugar Bowl. I don't know what kind of spell Nick Saban casts over these players that convinces all of them to keep playing. But Bryce Young and Will Anderson, I think even though Bryce Young as a player was incredible, I think you would argue that his era was disappointing through no fault of his own personally. But can they turn things around? Can they go out in style in the Sugar Bowl? I'll say this, Clemson all of a sudden, now that DJ is gone and Kate Klubnik is the guy, I know Aggies fans are pretty familiar. I think Kate's from around your guys' area. I think to me, that's a very interesting one. I'm just very curious as to, how they look. This is the new era, right? And I think we all kind of feel like in our heart of hearts, Clemson might be one of those 4 teams in the college football playoff had he played all along. So the fact that, this is kind of that next era of Clemson football with him under center, that one to me is obviously interesting. You're facing kind of a beaten down Tennessee team. No Hendon Hooker, obviously. No Jalen Hyatt, a few opt-outs. But I think that fan base overall is excited about that bowl game. So those are a couple that stick out, the sugar, the orange. I'm trying to think of some of the other ones. The cotton really does nothing for me with, USC and Tulane. Fiesta, I'm trying to blank. Oh, Fiesta is a college football playoff game. Never mind. So
that one's intriguing.
That one is intriguing. Well, I'll say this really quick. From the college football playoff perspective, I don't know if I talked to Nuno about it yet or not, but I'm really interested. I'm just saying, people will criticize you if you say stuff like this. I think the Ohio State program is trending in the wrong direction. And if they get smacked by Georgia the way that I think they're going to get smacked by Georgia, because Georgia's just basically a better version of Michigan, and they're not playing at home, and they're not playing in a rivalry game. I know nobody's saying Ryan Day is getting fired, but I think it's fair to ask questions. You lose the number 1 recruit in America the other day, 2024, and Dylan Raiola. Yesterday on National Signing Day, he's whining. Did you see this, Dalton?
I did
not. He's whining. He basically complained about what was it? Basically, coaches recruiting committed players because they had a few players decommit on signing day. Well, there was a quote-unquote gentleman's agreement in the Big Ten until his former boss, Urban Meyer, basically broke that rule, the unintended, the unwritten rule. It wasn't an actual rule. So he's complaining about guys flipping, loses the number 1 quarterback, gets smacked by Michigan the second year in a row. If he gets destroyed by Georgia, on New Year's Day, I know that's the other college football playoff game. I think it's going to be a very interesting offseason.
Not only is Ohio State not playing at home where they got beat by Michigan, you're essentially playing on the road because you're playing the Georgia Bulldogs at Mercedes-Benz Stadium. And I don't know if you know this, Atlanta's kind of close to Athens. And they've already played. It seems like Kirby's got to be the smartest guy as a coach from scheduling-wise, right? They opened the season there. They played in the SEC championship game there. And now he's getting to play a college football playoff semifinal there. That's home cooking if I've ever seen it.
Well, and I'll say this, that was actually my big criticism of him early in his career when he couldn't win the big games. All the big games were in Georgia. I mean, if you remember the 2nd and 26 game where they lost to Alabama, that was in Atlanta. Obviously, the 2 SEC championship games, he lost one to LSU. He lost one to Bama, when he had a 14-point lead at halftime. So that was my criticism early. Obviously, he's completely flipped the narrative in the last year and a half. But I will say this, there's going to be no home cooking in that national championship game, which is right down the road from me at SoFi Stadium, baby. So I will be there, and I'm excited to be there for that one. So I think I'm going to see the dogs there, too. So.
I think you probably will. AT, before we let you go, this is Aaron Torres, Fox Sports Radio, the Aaron Torres podcast. College basketball, help get us excited. We don't have to talk A&M. We can talk whatever you want because conference play is right around the corner. You take a breath, you get through the holidays, the new year, conference play in the SEC will start.
Crazy. No, it's crazy. The SEC is kind of interesting. I was on in Fayetteville, and they were kind of asking me about it yesterday. I think Arkansas is really good, but listen, they've lost a potential first-round pick to a season-ending injury, Trevin Brazil, and now they've lost a second guy, Nick Smith, for an indefinite amount of time. So the attrition bug might just catch up to them. I think Alabama's really good. I don't think anybody knows what Kentucky is right now. So listen, we'll see if A&M can get hot. I don't really have my pulse on my finger on the pulse of like exactly what's wrong with them. But the SEC is really interesting, and college hoops in general is just really interesting this year, where it isn't those like super elite programs that are really good. Duke lost the other night in their ACC road opener. North Carolina's been okay, but not great. UConn's really good. Arizona's really good. Purdue is really good. So it's kind of like, it's weird that second tier of teams, like historically, right behind the Dukes, Carolinas, Kentucky, seem to be the ones this year. I'm excited, but I do think from a national scale, it doesn't feel like there's as many like really big talking points this year. Duke, too, by the way, has been dealing with a lot of injuries. They were down two starters last in their game against Wake Forest. So I think I just hit on like 14 different things in 30 seconds. So I don't know if there's one specifically you have more interest in than the other, but that's your college hoops minute with AT here. So
there we go, man. That's what we needed. AT, man, appreciate you taking the time to join me today. I hope it's a very Merry Christmas in the Torres house. Going off that last email, the email conversation we had, right? It's a very Merry Torres Christmas.
That's right. Very Merry Torres Christmas. I hope the Dalton Hughes family has a great Christmas as well. And I hope to speak with you soon, man. It was great catching up.
Yeah, man. Talk to you, AT. Appreciate you.
All right. Thank you, Dalton.
All right. That's Aaron Torres with us on the hotline, Fox Sports Radio and the Aaron Torres podcast. We're going to close the hour out next with Around Aggieland. Kay Nagley, no show tomorrow, so we're going to do Around Aggieland a day early. You're listening to TexAgs Radio, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers.
Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas.
Ho, ho, ho. Merry blank.
Christmas.
Merry Christmas and Happy New Year from Chip Howard Sports Talk.
Merry Christmas.
I'm Chelsea Reber with your community calendar on the Zone. Mosaic Church in College Station invites you to their Christmas Eve service at 5 p.m. All are welcome to the candlelight service with a children's nativity and Christmas carols. NAMI Brazos Valley hosts weekly online support groups for those impacted by mental illness. Groups are confidential and led by trained facilitators. Visit NAMIBV.org for more information. Make friends, test your strengths, and explore new possibilities. At Girl Scouts, girls can be themselves and let their confidence soar. Get your girl involved. Learn more at gsctx.org. Did you know that the Student Employment Office at Texas A&M offers a free part-time job posting board? Visit jobsforaggies.tamu.edu for instructions on how to post your job opening. The Zone 1150 AM and 93.7 FM wishes you and your loved ones happy holidays and a Merry Christmas. That's your community calendar. I'm Chelsea Reber on The Zone.
As a real estate agent in the Brazos Valley, we have a few questions for you. Do you desire to grow your business? Are you passionate about exceeding client expectations? Would you rather work with a local company backed by Compass, the largest independent brokerage in America? What are you waiting for? Lone Star Realty Group, a strong local brand with instant recognition, awaits your move. Contact William Sears at LoneStarBCS.com. Your success is just a click away. Lone Star Realty. Experience, integrity, results. An equal opportunity employer.
Hi, this is Jeff Vanderwood with Veribank. Veribank is continuing to grow in the Brazos Valley with a brand new full-service banking center on Highway 6 in front of Academy. We have a team of genuine bankers specializing in personal and business banking, wealth management, and investor real estate lending ready to serve you. Veribank is here to help you succeed financially, and you can bank on it.
Visit Verabank.com today. That's VERA Bank.com. Verabank. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Are you active duty military, a teacher, or first responder in the Brazos Valley? Listen close. Local wedding professionals are teaming up to share their love and appreciation for you through the 5th Annual American Heroes Dream Wedding Giveaway. How? An all-inclusive wedding, from invitations to the honeymoon and everything in between. Registration opens January 1st, 2023 at AmericanHeroesWedding.com. For more info and list of vendors, visit AmericanHeroesWedding.com or call 979-822-8368.
This is Daryl from Columbus, previously from the Paul Feinbaum Show.
I'm really looking forward to chatting again with Joe Anderson.
I'm having a great time. I'm excited about TCU, making it to the semifinal. Nobody thought this was going to happen. I would be hard-pressed to even believe that Sonny Dykes would have believed it. It's a good time. Good time to be a TCU alum for sure.
The Paul Feinbaum Show, powered by Polaris Fund Center, 2 to 4 weekdays on The Zone.
Closing out hour number 2 on TexAgs Radio, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers, inside the Rollo Insurance Studio. It's now time for Around Aggieland. I didn't write the reader down. Y'all think I can do it without it? It's Around Aggieland, presented by Norman G. State Bank, rock solid banking. Check them out at normangstatebank.com. I've been here a while. That wasn't written down.
That was pretty good.
What's up, Kay Nagley? How'd you think about my song choice?
I like the song. I thought it was a different song. I thought it was the Post Malone song at first, the Sunflower one or whatever it's called. But no, I like it.
The anti-hero.
That's offensive. You thought Taylor Swift was Post Malone?
Nick, that's the wrong graphic.
It sounds like the same beginning.
I just want to let you know that you are indeed the problem, Kay Nagley.
I'd like to also point out that Nick's favorite Taylor Swift song was what? Santa Baby?
Oh, that was another funny thing yesterday.
I didn't remember
I appreciate her cover of Santa Baby. Of course, I know it's not her song. I don't know why I got
we're
roasted
talking
so
about
bad for that.
Favorite Taylor Swift songs, and Nick, the first song that comes to mind, not Love Story, not You Belong With Me, not Red, not 22.
Look at you.
I know.
Wow.
I'm a Taylor Swift fan. The great
Swiftie.
Clayton Kershaw once said, if you're not a fan of Taylor Swift, what are you doing? You're just lying to yourself. But yes, Nick, the first song that came to his mind was Santa Baby.
It's a good Christmas song.
Hey, Kay, what's going on around Aggieland?
Yes, let's get to it. So as I said earlier, Texas A&M women's basketball legend and head coach Gary Blair was announced as a nominee for the Naismith Memorial Basketball Hall of Fame Award. The organization announced on Wednesday, and then again with women's basketball. They were edged out by a late Purdue surge in Wednesday afternoon's 59-53 loss to the Boilermakers inside Reed Arena. They only had 7 available due to sickness and injuries. And next up, they hope to recover soon because they will head to Columbia and take on South Carolina. That game is on December 29th at 6 p.m. So hopefully they can pull that one out. And then moving on, as we know, we all survived early signing day. Texas A&M coach Jimbo Fisher signed 16 student athletes to national letters of intent on the first day of the early signing period. And some of those standout names, we got Damian Sanford from my own hometown, Katy, Texas. Let's see, Bravion Rogers from LaGrange, Dalton Brooks from Shiner, TJ Shanahan, Reuben Owens, and then the Aggies were able to pull out Micah Tease. So it was a great day yesterday.
That's it? That's all we got?
That's all we
Thanks,
got.
Kay. Hey, Richard, look, I found it.
Sweet. The Anti-Social Center, presented by Jamie Mari. Get well, Jams. Love you.
Yeah, that was a great joke from like 5 years ago that probably no one remembers.
5 years ago? Dude, I haven't been here that long.
You've
been here that long. I haven't been here that long.
Dalton, how did you do that?
I'm really, really good at what I do.
I'm
Nick.
baffled right now.
I have a very specific set of skills. What's the Liam Neeson thing? All right, that'll do it for hour number 2. Come back on the other side. We're going to start it with some more basketball talk. Tap Bentz will be in studio. Logan Lee on the phone line. We'll talk about the men's game on Tuesday afternoon with Wofford, and then hopefully get Tap
I'd prefer you not.
Yeah, I know, but we need to do it because we haven't done it because yesterday was signing day. So we're going to talk about it here on TexAgs Radio. Stay with us one more hour before we head into the holiday break.
Looking for podcasts of TexAgs Radio, The Louie Bellina Show, or Chip Howard? Look inside the Pod Center at zone1150.com. Don't miss a single rant, guest, or moment. You can download or subscribe to any and all of your favorite shows inside the Pod Center at zone1150.com. There's also a special selection where you can find select interviews from David, Louie, and Chip. Look up Zone interviews inside the Pod Center at zone1150.com. Download or subscribe. Don't miss out. Check out the Pod Center at zone1150.com.
I'm a 40-year-old man that walked in there to get his high school diploma. It was very hard for me, but Miss Araceli, she gave me direction.
At age 47, Marco finished his high school diploma.
50% of getting your high school diploma is walking through those doors. The other 50% is doing the work.
No one gets a diploma alone. If you're thinking of finishing your high school diploma, you have help. Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org. That's finishyourdiploma.org. Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
This is Aggieland's home for Aggie football, Aggie basketball, and Aggie baseball. Zone 1150 AM and 93.7 FM. Plus online at radioaggieland.com. This is KZNE College Station Bryan.
From WTAW, I'm Chelsea Reber with a news update on the Zone. There's a fourth report of gunfire in Bryan since Saturday. A BPD spokesman tells WTAW News they do not appear to be random. The latest case was yesterday around 2 a.m. where no one was injured, but a home was struck on Westwood, Maine, which is west of Harvey Mitchell and south of Villa Maria. Gunfire on Saturday and Sunday resulted in people going to the hospital, and gunfire on Monday resulted in one person being treated at the scene. The operator of most of the Texas electric grid is expected to do a better job of communication during Winter Storm Elliott. That's according to the vice chairman of the ERCOT board, retired Congressman Bill Flores of Bryan.
One of the areas, for instance, where ERCOT really fell down during Winter Storm Uri is in communications. You had multiple people giving diverse messages to Texans, and that was inappropriate.
Flores says changes were made by ERCOT's new CEO, and he feels good about where ERCOT is due to the collective work that also includes the legislature, the governor, and the Public Utility Commission. A majority of Brazos County commissioners thought they were holding a workshop a week from today to discuss who would be on a committee to develop recommendations for a specialty criminal court for veterans. After the reminder from Commissioner Russ Ford during yesterday's meeting, County Judge Dwayne Peters said that was not going to happen.
I'm not sure that gives any time for all of the folks that we've already discussed that need to be involved in it. I'm not sure that, there's almost no way in the Christmas holidays to make that happen.
Ford and Irma Cawley wanted a workshop before the end of the year because they're leaving the elected body. The Brazos County Health District has announced 2 more distributions of free rapid COVID home tests. 2 boxes with 4 tests per box will be given at the Health District office today from 8 until 2 and next Wednesday through Friday. Businesses and not-for-profit organizations can contact the Health District to obtain larger quantities as available. For more news, go online to WTAW.com. I'm Chelsea Reber on The Zone.
Does your bank know your first name? At Normandy State Bank, they do. Normandy State Bank is locally owned, controlled, and operated. This local personal touch means banking decisions are made on site the same day you request it. Normandy State makes banking easy. They're open Saturdays, offer state-of-the-art online banking, bill paying, fund transfers, check and statement images. Normandy State, where customer service is their priority. Normandy State Bank, rock solid. Member FDIC.
Good morning, sports fans. I'm Zach Taylor with your Aggie Sports Minute on The Zone. The Sports Minute is brought to you by Hilco Metal Roofing and Supply. Call 936-825-0500 or click HilcoSupply.com. Yesterday was early National Signing Day for Texas A&M football. The Aggies inked 16 players in all, but Coach Jimbo Fisher says he isn't done yet.
There's still some other guys that on their signing days and when they're going to announce and do their work will be coming in, and we'll continue to add to this class. Like I say, now recruiting, with the way recruiting is now, this is just the first part of it. So it's ever extending, and we'll keep going.
The signing period is set to officially end on February 2nd. Nothing doing for A&M women's basketball yesterday as it fell to Purdue 59-53. Junior guard KK Green after the loss.
So we're still young, figuring everything out, and we just have to execute better coming down the stretch. We had them 49-49, and we made, 3 turnovers or empty possessions, and we couldn't capitalize off those. So going forward, just capitalize on the small things, and we'll be fine.
Green finished with a team-high 14 points for the Myrna White, which falls to 5-5 on the year. And staying on the court, former A&M women's coach Gary Blair has been nominated for the Naismith Memorial Basketball Hall of Fame. Blair holds the 12th most wins in Division I history with 852 and helped lead the Ags to a national championship in 2011. And that's been your Aggie Sports Minute, brought to you by Hilco Metal Roofing and Supply. On The Zone, I'm Zach Taylor.
Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max.
Bill Parcells would say this to me, Herm, all the time about guys. He would point to a guy, how coaches are. Y'all point to a guy on the practice field, go over there and tell a player, say, see this guy right here? Always something with him. It's just always something. Nothing good happens for him. He's right there to pick up the fumble. The other guy dives in front of him. The ball thrown right to him, he drops it. Interception, pick six, going the other way, he can't hold on to it. Always something. And that's kind of Anthony Davis. It's just always something.
I'm a Laker fan. This is hard to watch, man. This is hard to watch.
Yeah, I think he's injured, though, Coach.
I hope he is. So you're saying he's Dr. Cotton?
What is Dr. Cotton, for those who don't know? I want to know.
Real soft.
It's kind of always something. And he's talented. This guy has so much talent, and I've always said this. Sometimes talent can be a curse.
Spend your mornings with Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max, powered by WC Tractor. Mornings from 5 to 8 here on The Zone.
10:05, final hour of TexAgs Radio before we take a little holiday break.
Am I like 30 minutes before? Jeez.
You're an hour before.
Hour. That's what I'm saying.
You're the final hour here because then we got
Put a little pressure on me now.
Tap Bentz here with us in studio, inside the Rollo Insurance Studio, TexAgs Radio, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers. And as I'm looking for ad read now, this is Pounding the Rock, presented by Norman G. State Bank. Norman G. State Bank, rock solid banking. On the phone line with us, Tap, Logan Lee. Logan, you got us?
What's happening, guys?
Wow.
Well, it's nice to have you here, Logan. Merry almost Christmas, buddy.
Merry almost Christmas. I guess with you hosting the show, you don't read your text messages. I was texting you earlier to see if we were going to do a Zoom call so I could see y'all's lovely faces, but I guess not.
Yeah, I'm not checking my phone during the show. Sorry.
He's a professional.
Yeah, well, let's easy on the word professional, Tap. Let's not go too far. Guys, we'll start off here. We'll do one segment with Logan, two with Tap. Logan, Tuesday afternoon, Reed Arena, not the prettiest sight of things for the Aggies.
No, it was I don't even know if disappointment is how you can describe it. The Aggies are struggling to say the least, and in this game against Wofford, I mean, it's a 5-point loss. Hardly scored 60 points. Wofford just controlled the game. They controlled the pace of the game. They controlled the shot selection, both on offense and defense. It was disappointing to see, especially going into the holidays, and they are lost. They don't have a leader right now. They don't have a go-to guy. They have no consistency, both on offense and defense. It's a struggle.
Logan, do you think some of that is because, I mean, I watch the games, and I just don't feel like the coaching staff has a feel for what the rotation should be right now. And it just feels like to me, Andre Gordon, not that he's going to come up and give you 20, but he gives you solid play. He almost sat the bench, it felt like, for most of the second half the other day. It just feels like there's not any kind of set rotation. It doesn't seem like people know their roles. I mean, maybe you see it differently.
No, I think you hit the nail on the head. There's no consistency, and that starts with the rotation. I mean, there are here. I don't want to always go back to the teams that I played on, but that's what I know. And if you look at it, I mean, heck, there was 0 starting lineup changes throughout the year. I mean, by the time that first game came, we knew our roles. We knew what we had on the team. We knew everybody's capabilities and how they fit into the system. And while it's different these days because of transfers and all of this other stuff, I mean, there's not as much cohesiveness coming into the season because of those transfers, because of the transfer portal. But at the same time, you're a third of the season done. You need to know who you can trust and who you can't. And that's what I wrote last night, really late, is Buzz just needs to limit his rotation to 8 guys. The 8 guys that are being the most productive right now, those guys that play, and he needs to roll with them. And he needs to allow them to, 1, figure out their roles within that 8-man system, but 2, just have some consistency. I would put Gordon in the top 5 of that 8 just because you know what you're getting from him. He's your top defender. He can shoot the ball when he's at the 2 or the 3, whatever position it may be, when he's off the ball, not a point guard. He can score, but he brings his intensity and his love of the game and of the team every single second that he's on the court, and you need that. They don't have a leader right now. They don't have anybody that they can count on, and it's because no one knows exactly when they're going to play and what they need to produce when they're on the court.
Well, Logan, another thing from Tuesday, and I know you wrote about this, and you and I have talked about this, pace of play. I know we were sitting there watching in the second half yesterday, and we saw them continue to try to push at times. You still think that lack of a diversity and being able to slow it, knowing when to slow it down, Does that go into not knowing your role, or is that just not doing what you need to be doing when you need to do it?
No, yes and no. They want to play fast, but Wofford controlled the tempo of that game. I mean, they definitely didn't play fast. They played. A&M tried to push the ball, but they turned it over at inopportune times. They didn't make baskets. They missed layups. When that's happening, you've got to get the ball to Julius Marble in the post and let him go to work against a team like Wofford. You know, if they want to play slow, and if you can't change the pace, then play slow with them. Get the ball in the post to your most offensively talented post player that Wofford has nobody that can guard him, and let him go to work. Let him score 6 out of the first 10 points. Create your own tempo, but at the same and on the other hand, I think they're just not playing smart basketball right now, and that's a big portion of it. You can play hard all you want, but if you play hard and you put yourself out of position and you play so hard on defense that you over rotate and you put your teammate in a worse position because now they have to recover, they have to rotate themselves, they have to go to help side, whatever it may be. That's where the open shots come in. Just stay solid fundamentally, play smart basketball, and you don't have to worry about all this other stuff.
And you know, you talk about the defensive side, and I don't think I ever had a question that Buzz's team would play defense, but like you said, they're just not moving as a unit, or they're over rotating. But there were a couple of times that Wofford, I thought, really just went uncontested, you know, to the basket, and nobody would come off, and they'd come off, but that second person wasn't rotating down from where they were supposed to be. But I thought Wofford really did I thought defensively they did a good job and made us use shot clock because they got back in transition. And then we didn't get open looks, but I think, like you said, it was a lot of perimeter oriented as far as I was concerned, not trying to pound it inside where I thought we had some size.
Yeah, I mean, here's a good look at what we did when our defensive principles got out of whack. You know, the guy that's guarding the ball is allowing straight line drives, and when you allow straight line drives, your teammates, because these guys are such good teammates, everybody wants to help. So they're helping from the strong side. They're helping from the weak side. Everybody is helping to stop the ball because they're not trusting that the help side is going to come from the weak side. So you have 3 people attacking the ball, which gives 2 other people being open, and then that gives the guard the opportunity to hit 2 other people. Well, if you have 2 people open, the next person rotating doesn't know which one to cheat towards, and so that puts them late on the recovery. If I were Buzz, and I'm not making nearly the salary, I don't have any of the experience, but from the outside looking in, I would tell my guys, hey, if you're not supposed to be the one rotating to help, don't help. You do your job. Don't try to cover for somebody else that missed their assignment. Let them miss their assignment, and I'll take care of them, and we'll correct them missing the assignment. Instead of having 3 people help and allowing 2 other people to be open, only one person helps. The person that's supposed to help, that person helps. And if you don't help, then you're on the bench. And that way, you know, you never want to point people out and say, it is your fault. But at the end of the day, if there's a missed rotation, it is your fault, and you need to get better at doing that. And that will put your teammates in a better position, which will make your defense a lot more solid.
Is part of that, though, too, on-ball defense? Because, again, we're allowing the straight line penetration to happen, which will kill any defense no matter what's happening. So, to me, who do we have on the ball at the top? And like you said, Andre Gordon's the best defender. You know, he's got to be up top. And I started wondering the other day, would we be better off with Wade Taylor off the ball as opposed to the ball in his hands? Because there are times I just don't know if he makes the right decision with the ball in his hands.
Oh, I completely agree with that statement. I think Wade is a great 2.
Right.
He's an okay point guard, but he's a really good 2 guard. I mean, allow him to just run off screens, and when he catches the ball, he's either shooting or he's attacking with a dribble, no hesitation, and let him go, and he's really good at that. But to have the ball in his hands, he dominates the ball, and sometimes that's not great for the flow of the offense for everybody else. To go back to, you started that statement with the defense, and is that on-ball defense? Is that the person that's starting the troublesome issues? Absolutely. I would, for a game or two, I'd throw him out there and say, we're not switching anything. You guard your man, and you see who's better. Can you stop him or can you not stop him? And if you can't stop him, we'll find somebody that can. It doesn't matter if they're coming off a screen. It doesn't matter if it's a ball screen or a down screen or whatever it is. You fight through everything, and you stay with your man, and you keep him from getting to the basket, and you keep him from having an open shot. And let's see who really wants to play. That's the thing. Like instead of hitting a screen and expecting somebody to help you on the other side, you already know going into the game, I have no help. I better get through that screen. I better fight through that screen, or I better cheat that screen, go underneath, whatever it may be. But you guard your man, and then that'll tell you who really wants to play defense and who doesn't.
Logan, 2 games left for the Aggies before the start of conference play, right on the other side of Christmas. You got one next Tuesday and next Friday. You're right. We talked about this a little bit the other day. Now's the time, right? Because if you get too far into conference play, you're too far behind the 8 ball. And although we've seen them do it before, you don't want to ask them to do that again the later the season gets.
Yeah, don't say 8. 8 was the magic number last
sorry.
year.
Yeah, unfortunately, I think Wofford was the time. They're already behind the 8 ball. They don't have any good non-conference wins unless SMU finds its stride. SMU has some really talented guys, and they could win a lot of games if they come together and if they play. But right now, they're just not a good basketball team. But if they become a good basketball team in conference, that's the only win that would look good. They've got to win at least 12 conference games, a minimum of 11, and then if that happens, they still got to make a nice run in the conference tournament to have hope. I mean, here's the saving grace. I think the SEC has some strong teams. They're going to have a chance to get a lot of quad 1 wins throughout conference, and so if they can make that happen, then they've got a chance. But they've got a lot of growing up to do, and they've got a lot of developing to do to get to that point.
Well, the good news is they do have those 2 games after Christmas before conference, to hopefully start heading in the right direction. Unlike the women who got to go straight to Columbia, South Carolina, and say, welcome to the SEC 2023.
Well, welcome to big-time women's college basketball. Start the conference off on the road at South Carolina. That's a tough call right there.
Yeah, you would have thought, they didn't care who replaced Gary Blair. They were going to make sure they understood what was happening in the SEC.
So I say Joni came from Georgia. She knew what she was getting into. There was no questions, but it's like, man, let me ramp up and get into it.
What did she do to get the conference, upset last year?
Yeah, no kidding. We'll talk about that more on the other side with the Women Tap. Logan, thanks so much for taking the time to join us today. Merry Christmas to you, Katie, and the kids, and we'll see you when we see you.
Merry Christmas, brother.
Appreciate it, Dalton. See you, Tab. Merry Christmas, everybody. Happy holidays. Y'all be careful.
All right. That's Logan Lee with us on the hotline talking some Aggie men's basketball. We come back on the other side. We'll pound the rock a little more with Tap and talk about the women. There's 2 of us here, Tap. That's only 5 less than what the Aggies played with yesterday, so we'll talk about that on the other side. You're listening to TexAgs Radio, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas.
And Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Happy New Year. Happy New Year.
From the Louie Bellina Show.
I'm Chelsea Reber with your community calendar on the Zone. Join the Brazos Valley Cowboy Church for a Christmas Eve candlelight service at 5 p.m. For more information about becoming a master gardener, Brazos County gardening best practices, or other gardening events, visit brazosmg.com. Al-Anon is a mutual support program for people whose lives have been affected by someone else's drinking. Join them Sundays at 7:30 p.m. at A&M United Methodist Church. SARC offers free and confidential services to anyone affected by sexual assault in the Brazos Valley. If you or someone you know is in need, call 979-731-1000. Newly formed cancer support groups are available for cancer patients, survivors, and caregivers the fourth Monday of each month. For more information, go online to mendingheartsgriefcenter.org. Merry Christmas and happy holidays to you and your family from the Zone 1150 AM and 93.7 FM. That's your community calendar. I'm Chelsea Reber on the Zone.
Brad Beard of Intercon.
Replacement windows, like other major purchase items, will at some time in the future need service, whether warranty or not. If you purchase your replacement windows from Intercon, you'll just phone our local number and we'll take care of your issue in a prompt and professional way. Every one of Intercon's personnel who answer the phone will know how to involve the right people to find a solution. With Intercon, you won't spend hours manipulating through an automated phone tree. If you consider purchasing your replacement windows from another window, a good exercise would be to call the service department of the other company. You might come away thinking it'd be better to put your trust in a local company with a solid and well-established reputation. Ask your friends and colleagues about the customer experience they had with Intercon. Proud of our track record and our commitment to long-term customer service. Trust Intercon, a family-owned local business with all of your.
Whether you have new construction or an existing home, let the fine folks from Intercon help your home energy efficiency year-round. Call Brad Beard of Intercon today at 823-3639. That's 823-3639.
The flagship station for Aggie athletics is The Zone. Whenever the Aggies are playing, you can hear them right here at 1150 and 93.7 FM. Thanks to our listeners and Aggie broadcast sponsors, Pioneer Steel, Rudy's Barbecue, The Sleep Station, and Prosperity Bank. Here's a big gig to all these sponsors. Listen to Aggie Athletics on The Zone 1150 and 93.7 FM.
Gotta be connected with The Zone. Follow us on Twitter or Instagram at The Zone 1150. Like us on Facebook at The Zone 1150. Programming alerts, prize updates, scores from games all across Brian Broadcasting, contest news, and more. Connect with us and always be in the know. Can't remember what team is playing on what station? When are they giving away what? And when is the coach on the show? Follow us on Twitter or Instagram at Zone 1150. And be sure to like us on Facebook at Zone 1150. And always be in the know.
1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2.
TexAgs Radio, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers on a Thursday, 10:23 in the morning. Tap Bent's here with me in studio for another segment of Pounding the Rock, presented by Normandy State Bank.
It only took me how many years to get a title for this segment, you know? So.
I came up with one, but it wasn't very good. I think last year, we called it the Hardwood Half Hour.
Oh, I never even heard that.
You never did?
So, no.
Maybe I pushed that and David just didn't like it, so
yeah,
it never actually made it to air, which that wouldn't be the first time I've done something like that. Tap talked about the men last segment. Let's turn it to the women now. Back-to-back games playing with only 7 players. Won the first outing and then lost yesterday to Purdue, but a pretty valiant effort, if we're being honest, for what they had available.
Valiant, gritty, gutty. I mean, all these terms you want to use, absolutely. I mean, they had an opportunity late yesterday, and they were worn out. I mean, you could tell their legs were leaving them in the fourth quarter, but they were still fighting, still battling, still giving everything they had. And, you know, I felt bad. You know, I didn't go to the game. I watched it on Sunday, and I'm watching it, and I'm just going, oh, and I was shocked, you know, because, again, SMU's on that winning streak, and you know, everything points to SMU, and all of a sudden, who's this girl number 1 that's on the floor? I mean, hadn't she always been sitting on the bench? And she ends up with 10 points. And KK Green, you know, is doing a good job leading the team. And, you know, Aaliyah Patty, as far as I'm concerned, is looking more like the Aaliyah Patty we saw at times last year than what we've really seen this year. And, you know, and Jada Malone's giving you quality minutes here and there. And Sahara Jones is just doing what she's been doing. But they played loose. Looked like they were having fun, you know, against SMU. And I think it was successful for them.
You know, they were playing loose, having fun. And is that almost one of those moments when you only have 7 players where you're like, well, what do we got to lose? Let's just go throw it out there. And what do we got? And you also know you have a little bit of a holiday break coming on the other side. So let's exhaust this effort and let's go try to win these games despite what we got going on.
You know, so and I'll credit that to Joni and her coaching staff, because have you ever heard someone be more positive, more even keeled, or just, not, seem to get flustered? I mean, even, we've talked about the trip to Little Rock and the adventure just to get there. And, her saying is, look, Little Rock doesn't care about how we got here. We still have to go play ball. And she just puts things in such an easy way to go, well, you're right, Coach, let's go play. And so I'm sure she was telling that, hey, they don't care. We only have 7. Yeah. Let's go. And so you got to be happy. Now, yesterday I was a little concerned, and I think I didn't bring it up last segment with Logan, but I always hate the getaway game. I think it's the toughest game to coach, because I promise you, 90% of those kids probably had their cars packed,
you're
loaded.
Walking out of the facility, into the car, and you're going.
They were getting text messages from family going, hey, we got this on the stove. Can't wait for you to get home tonight. So, and it's just one of those things. But you got to give it to the women, because they came out and played like, you know what, we'll get home when we get home. We want to win this game.
They want to get home and want to win the game. But, yeah, I meant to ask Logan about that. Time kind of got away from us, because I know he's talked about that before.
Yeah.
It's the hardest game to play in, and I'm sure
at home.
Like you said,
I think it's better to go on the road.
Yeah, because you're not – maybe your lack of comfort not being at home, you're doing something different, as opposed to, you're right here. I bet you a lot of people.
Well, you go on the road and you got that routine, so you're working on that routine. But what are you doing if you're on a home game? Sure, you go and you got practice, shoot around, and then but what are you doing that night before? You're at your apartment, you're packing. Oh wait, what do I do this and everything else? It's so. To me, it was always the most difficult game to coach, because you've already lost about 20% of their mind going into the game, to get them back focused, and so. Either way, though, the women came through and did a great job yesterday of giving everything they had. I was impressed with the crowd that gave them they knew they were giving them everything. And when they tied that game at 49, you would have thought there was 8,000 people at Reed Arena. That place kind of erupted.
You saw it, and you saw Joni getting fired up, which was cool to see on the sidelines. First time I think we've really seen her get animated and try to get the crowd into it, and they gave it back to them. Let's talk about this. Moving forward, it's welcome to the SEC moment for the Aggies this season. On the road at South Carolina after the Christmas break to start conference play.
Yeah, national TV. I'm sure Joni probably, is. And again, she's probably going, hey, we're going to embrace it. We're going to go do it. And it's tough. And and then they play Florida, then they play LSU. So 2 of your top 3 games are against top 5 teams in the country right now, But that's what the SEC women's basketball is. It's a great conference, and you got to be ready to play. And, she knew what she had coming in, and she's making those players play as well as they can and getting the most out of them. And so if, there were some people early on that with some of the games, I think, looked at the team and said, we don't understand why we're not at the level we were 2 years ago.
Right.
But the drop started last year. Let's be honest. And let's be also honest. If Joni doesn't bring in her recruits from Georgia, where would this team be right now? So she's done an incredible job, and I think the players love her, respond to her, and it's really been a fun season, even though maybe the wins haven't always been there.
Wins haven't always been there, but you can see that it's a new era of women's basketball at Texas A&M.
It is.
You can see different things. It's not the same basketball that you've seen before. It's cool to see something new. I'll put it that way.
That's a great way to put it. And by the way, congratulations, Coach Blair, on your on your nomination to the Naismith Hall of Fame, and that's incredible. But Joni's done this before. She had to replace Andy Landers. So she knew, so there's enough of a change, and it's new, and it's a new personality, yet she's still involved in the community. She's, but she does her own thing, and they're having lunches, but they're kind of combined lunches with the men. And so you still have an opportunity to get to know the players and everything, but in a different way, which isn't always better, but it's different, and it's probably good, because 20 years people were kind of used to the same thing, and sometimes change is good.
Mm-hmm. Tap, SEC play, and besides getting healthy, I'm going to take that one off the board. Where's the one area you think this team needs to improve going forward?
Shooting. They have to find somebody that could be a consistent shooter. I think they have some scorers, but I still don't know if there's somebody, if KK Green or Mackenzie Green comes back soon, or anybody, if we penetrate and cause somebody to come down and help to double, that we can kick it out and know the ball's in the hole.
Yeah.
You know, you had Kadasha Hoppe probably that could do it last year, and you've always A&M's almost always had somebody that designated shooter.
Spot up.
Yeah, they don't have that this year, and even with the players coming back, I'm not sure if there's that person.
It'd be interesting to follow. Tap, thanks so much for coming over, man.
Enjoyed it, man.
You.
Absolutely.
Merry Christmas. Enjoy some time with the family, sir.
I will. Y'all have a great New Year.
Thank you. That's Tap Bentz with us here inside the Rollo Insurance Studio. When we come back, we'll go out to the hotline again and talk to Bob Sturm of Sports Radio 96.7 The Ticket. Cowboys have the Eagles on Christmas Eve. We'll talk about that. And we already talked Dan Campbell a little bit today. We might talk a little bit with more because Bob actually used to interview Dan weekly when he was with the Cowboys. So we'll talk about that next. You're listening to TexAgs Radio, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers.
It's the one show in the world that talks Aggie football, Star Wars, and progressive overload at the gym. It's TexAgs Radio with Dave, Olin, and Billy here on the Zone.
You know us through the Aggie Ring and our work helping current and former students. You also know that we work to uphold our traditions and help bring Aggies together around the world. We are the Association of Former Students, and it's our mission to provide resources, support programs, and cultivate the experiences that you know and love. But have you ever stopped and wondered why? Why does the association support Texas A&M and Texas Aggies? Why are we always here, there, and everywhere for the Aggie Network? Why do we tirelessly work to ensure that the Aggie experience is both unforgettable and life-changing? Well, you may be surprised to learn that the answer to why is as unique as your own Aggie story. That's why we created IamTheWhy.com, a place for shared Aggie stories and unique perspectives. It's where you can hear the why, see the why, and discover why Aggies like you are the why. Visit IamTheWhy.com today.
If you have a debit card, you're used to spending money. But what if your card actually ended up earning you money? That's not exactly normal, but that's what you can get at A&B. It's called Kasasa Cashback Checking. Don't mind the weird name. What you need to know is that it's a free account with cash rewards. Use your debit card for everyday purchases, and we'll pay you cash back every month. If that doesn't sound like normal banking, well, guess what? We're not a normal bank. So contact A&B today and ask for Kasasa or visit ANB.com. Equal housing lender, member FDIC.
Hi, this is Kelly Adams with Girard Construction, custom home builders for the Brazos Valley since 2002. Our business was founded on providing a quality product with excellent customer service. We believe our best source of business is our satisfied clients. We want you to be happy. That's why we're hands-on in each project. We are on-site and available to you when you have questions. At Girard Construction, we don't just build homes, we build relationships. Let's build your dream home together. Visit us at girard-construction.com.
Keyshawn Johnson, Jay Williams, and Max Kellerman.
Tom Brady's played 20-plus years of football. He went 10 years and didn't get one. Some people don't play 10 years and never get it. There are guys who have played in the National Football League for a number of years and don't even know what confetti looks like.
Even for Jordan to have 6, there is an element of luck that goes into that.
Oh, of course.
Not Jordan 6. No one ever took him 7 games. But, there's luck in terms of the situation you find yourself in.
Well, Jordan got lucky. He went off 6.
Stop.
What are you talking about?
How do you get lucky?
Because injuries. Injuries are key components. There's luck that goes into all that stuff, man.
That's fair, right? You avoid injury.
Here's why we jump on you when you say stuff like that, though, Max. Because we athletes. So when we hear people say things, it's like, wait a minute, man. No.
Spend your mornings with Keyshawn, Jay Will, and Max, powered by WC Tractor. Mornings from 5 to 8 here on The Zone.
.34 on a Thursday morning. Dalton Hughes in the host chair for David Nuno. He's joined some time off, and the Christmas holiday here at TexAgs is so close we can taste it here in the Rollo Insurance Studio. Right now, though, we want to go out to the hotline and talk to Bob Sturm of Sports Radio 96.7 The Ticket, Cowboys beat writer for The Athletic. Bob, thanks for taking the time to join us, sir. Good morning.
My pleasure. How you guys doing today?
Oh, we are doing great. I'm going to say personally, I would be better if Miro didn't do un-Miro things last night. That's all I will say.
Yeah, I agree with you. That was pretty uncommon, but it does prove that sports are real, and we can always see something unique for the first time.
Every night, you never know what you're going to get. Hey, Bob, let's start here. We talked to you last on this show before the start of the A&M season. We obviously all know here how that went, but I wanted to get your thoughts. Let's glean to the positive and talk about the Aggies finding their quarterback towards the end of the season in Connor Wigman and what you want to see from the Aggie offense moving forward.
Yeah, well, I mean that's a complex scene until you know what you're working with. But you know the downfall of the program recently to me has been mostly an offensive issue, and whether that's scheme or quarterback or both, I think we could have a nice long talk about that. But this wasn't, you know, to me, it's kind of funny because I think I was on with you guys in August, and I think that was right about the time I did a couple segments in Dallas about, you know, what seemed like a 2 to 3 year trend with Jimbo about the offense and about their ability to generate big plays and vertical pass plays and just chunks in their offense. And it spanned Kellen Mond, Haynes King, Zach Calzada, you know, and just, you know, obviously add Max now and add Connor. And at least with Connor, we're starting to see what appears to be a productive offense again. But this wasn't a 1 year thing, and this wasn't a one quarterback thing. This is a many year, at least 2020, when they had a really, really good year. Still offensively, there were a lot of metrics that said, this isn't great. This isn't productive enough, sustainable enough to demonstrate, you know, the ability to win games and get where the Aggies want to go. So the fact that it happened this year, honestly, was just more of the same and perhaps more exaggerated because of the Appalachian State situation. But, you know, the state of the program is they got to start building that. And if Connor is the answer, then good times can start rolling very quickly. But it does feel to me like it's more of a scheme and a somewhat antiquated issue as their approach to offense relative to their competition. Absolutely. That's a long answer, but that's what I got for you.
No, you hit the nail on the head. I think that'll be interesting to see where we go from here with the offensive coordinator. Talking about an offense that has been humming, at least before the last couple of weeks, Dak and the Cowboys, seems like they've got it going. You want to talk about being able to spread the ball around. Maybe Cowboys not quite stretching the field enough, but when you got Tony Pollard hitting home runs out of the run game, that helps too, right?
Yeah, no doubt. And they've been very good. They've been very productive. Obviously, the interception issue is an issue, and the turnovers can, you know, they're as a whole, the Cowboys are not horrible in that spot at all. But if you drill down and you just use the arbitrary sample size of Dak leading the league in interceptions since he's returned, you know, that's not great. That's not something you want. On the other hand, they're scoring more points than anybody in the NFL since he's been back, and that's very, very good. And if you say, well, what's winning football? I would say scoring 34 points a game is winning football, and that's where they are. And they've played 8 games since he's returned. They've won 6 of them, and the other 2, they blew double-digit fourth-quarter leads, double-digit second-half leads that, you know, the offense kind of did its job. I'm not saying the offense was blameless in Green Bay, and the offense wasn't blameless in Jacksonville, the only 2 games they've lost, but those are games where you are in a position to win, and you turned it over to what we thought was a very, very good defense, and it didn't happen for them. And so that's kind of where we are. But, you know, I think they're a good team. I think we're starting to see the defense return to earth a little bit, and that's not great. So that's kind of where they are. But they're in the mix for sure. There's no reason why they can't whoop up on Philadelphia on Saturday and feel good about things and then get ready for the playoffs.
I want to ask you this about the interception issue, because I grew up listening to you. I know we've had this conversation before, and all the talk about Tony Romo of, well, Romo the gunslinger throws too many interceptions. And then Dak, it was the conservative. Well, look at this guy. He just comes in and distributes the ball and needs to go. To have this championship-level quarterback, they're going to make mistakes. They're going to have to throw it in the tight windows. And I think you're right. 34 points a game. They think they have the defense that once you get to that number, they should be good. It's just been these two instances where that hasn't happened.
Yeah, no doubt. And that's the real catch here is on one hand, because of the nearly 3 decades of disappointment, people are looking for anything that might derail the train, and a bad turnover at a bad moment of a playoff game can definitely be a candidate for that. So we have to take these things seriously. I would argue that if you're leading the league in scoring, you're in a pretty good spot. And the only reason those 2 games were lost. So again, they're 6-2 during the stretch with Dak. They've only lost 2 games. They had double-digit leads on the road in the second half of both games. So to me, you just got to turn it over to your closer, your defense, your pass rush, and say, all right, end the game. And in both cases, they did not. So that's winning football. That's the recipe. So, it's certainly a legitimate fear of something going wrong in a playoff game. But as a whole, if you said, Bob, I'm going to make a trade for you, the trade is your quarterback is going to throw 1.5 interceptions a game, but he's also going to get you in the end zone 5 times each game. Is that a trade you can make? And yeah, that's absolutely a trade you can make. But clearly, you're not anticipating losing a 17-point lead to Jacksonville or a 14-point lead to a Green Bay team that wasn't scoring really 14 points a game when the Cowboys played them.
Absolutely. I think the bigger worry for me is when you look at this team and talk about where they could go and obviously where people want them to go around the Dallas and Texas area. Are they built to beat the teams that you're going to have to beat to get out of the NFC, and that being the Eagles, who are more of when healthy and with Jalen Hurts, run it at you? Or we all take it back to last year. We all remember what happened when the 49ers rolled to town. Kyle Shanahan, Trent Williams, Deebo Samuel, run it downhill. I think that's where more of my worry would sit than with Dak in the offense.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's something that this defense – the Leighton Vander Esch thing is bothersome only because you can definitely see the Cowboys are way easier to run on when their linebackers are do not have Parsons or Vander Esch. And so you use Parsons as a pass rusher and Vander Esch gets hurt. And now you're kind of using your 3rd and 4th options at linebacker. And, I think the Aggies would attest to that's not a great recipe to stopping the run. Which resonates down there for sure for that football team is, you just got to be able to at least put up a little bit of resistance. I certainly believe a yard is a yard, and so I would definitely try to trick a opponent to running the ball for 4 or 5 yards a carry instead of 7 or 8 yards a pass. But at a certain point, as Ole Miss showed us, as Green Bay showed us, this has been a season where at times, the defense, which was propped up in both situations as the better of the 2 units, that's where it collapsed is right there at the line of scrimmage.
Absolutely. And then this weekend, Christmas Eve, Cowboys and the Eagles at AT&T Stadium. For a while, thought maybe this was going to be a game for the division. The Cowboys obviously did not hold up their end of the bargain. Jalen Hurts dealing with injury. Gardner Minshew expected to start at quarterback for Philly. What do you expect to see out of the boys on Saturday afternoon?
Honestly, Sunday, as I'm watching Jacksonville get 500 yards on them and 40 points, all I could think of is the Cowboys are going to hammer Philadelphia on Saturday because that's how football works, right? They're going to collapse in a trap game, and then they're going to take out their wrath on Philadelphia in a game that doesn't matter as much as we hoped it would. So if I were to anticipate anything, I would think the Cowboys win by 10 points on Saturday night. And I felt that way with Jalen Hurts. And so if you put Gardner Minshew in there, let's make it 2 touchdowns. I think because football is such an emotional game that does this sort of thing, I think the Cowboys win a game that Philadelphia now realizes isn't that important.
Bob Sturm with us of The Ticket in Dallas, also writes for The Athletic. Bob, bringing it back to A&M here to end. We'll stick in the NFL, though. I know back in the day you guys used to interview one Dan Campbell weekly on your show. He has now since been to Hard Knocks fame and now has turned the Lions around, which not many people thought may have been possible. I know you growing up in Green Bay, you've watched the Lions struggle for, almost ever. How cool is it to see what Dan's done there in Detroit?
I love it. I reached out to him a couple days ago just we touch base periodically because we struck up a friendship there in Dallas for a long time, and the dude is as real as it gets. He has put in his time, and that's what's funny about it is he's a young dude. We all remember Dan Campbell at Kyle Field or with the Cowboys, and the fact is he put in an 11-year NFL career and then an 11-year NFL coaching career. So 22 years in the NFL to get his chance to be a head coach. Remember the first chance in Miami didn't quite work, even though he did a lot of impressive things there, and then went to New Orleans for about 5 years. Now he's got his chance, and I couldn't be happier. So he's a real dude. He resonates with players. They play hard for him. They buy into him. And just at the end of the day, I want to see success because I think whoever achieves that with Detroit is going to be a legend there, and he deserves it. So I'm thrilled for Dan. I just read a story by Bob McGinn that people should look up that pretty much details his entire path. And I thought it was fantastic. I tweeted it out a couple nights ago, and it just sort of fills in all the blanks for people that might have lost track of him. He put in his time. He has a great philosophy. He's a great football coach, and I just want the best for him.
I wonder if that story, I may need to go read it and see if there's any references to his college roommate, one Billy Lucci. That might be an interesting angle that someone else needs to cover if it hasn't been enough already.
Yeah, well, Billy's under publicized, so that's probably a rock Bob didn't overturn. But no, that's awesome, and I certainly have a solid regard for both those dudes.
It was, like I said, it's cool to see Dan. We talked about it earlier today a little bit. It's cool to see Dan from Hard Knocks where they were. Usually the teams from Hard Knocks are not good teams and they don't have good seasons worth watching, but you could tell how much a preseason game meant to that guy, and you've seen it every week in the locker room during the regular season. It's awesome to see, and obviously we're all fans of him here as well. Yeah,
I just hope he de-stresses because he does. It definitely looks like he takes everything as serious as the Super Bowl, and I know that can be rough on you over the course of time. So make sure you're taking care of yourself, Dan.
It's that in the two Ventis with the black eye. I'm sure they add up, but if he gets into the playoffs this year, I'll say every ounce of caffeine is probably worth it in his mind.
Heck yeah. No, I think that'd be a great story, man. Love to see it.
All right, Bob, hey, thanks so much for taking the time to join us this week. I know you're off, out visiting the family. It means a lot, man. Appreciate it.
Dalton, my man, have a good Christmas, and it's good visiting with you, sir.
Yes, sir. We will talk to you down the road. That is Bob Sturm with us from The Ticket in Dallas. When we come back, we're going to do the thing where we end the show before a holiday break. I've told the guys at the station to start playing Robert Earl Keen, Merry Christmas from the Family, at about 10:54, and that'll take us out to the close of the show. So Nick's mic's going to be open. I think Richard's going to come back in studio, as well as Kay in the Social Center. So we'll take you to break. Fire away some random text messages, and they'll probably get read on air here, if we're being honest. You're listening to TexAgs Radio, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers.
Happy holidays. Merry Christmas.
Season's greetings to you and your family from all of us here at The Zone. The Zone.
Happy holidays. Merry Christmas.
I'm Chelsea Reber with your community calendar on The Zone. Mosaic Church in College Station invites you to their Christmas Eve service at 5 p.m. All are welcome to the candlelight service with a children's nativity and Christmas carols. NAMI Brazos Valley hosts weekly online support groups for those impacted by mental illness. Groups are confidential and led by trained facilitators. Visit NAMIBV.org for more information. Make friends, test your strengths, and explore new possibilities. At Girl Scouts, girls can be themselves and let their confidence soar. Get your girl involved. Learn more at gsctx.org. Did you know that the Student Employment Office at Texas A&M offers a free part-time job posting board? Visit jobsforaggies.tamu.edu for instructions on how to post your job opening. The Zone 1150 AM and 93.7 FM wishes you and your loved ones happy holidays and a Merry Christmas. That's your community calendar. I'm Chelsea Reber on The Zone.
Since 1957, Slovakic Sausage in Snook has been making the best tasting sausage in Texas from the same family recipe. Slovakic is the official sausage of Texas A&M Athletics. Whether it's from the grill to the family gathering or from the pit to the neighborhood party, serve the sausage voted best in the Brazos Valley. Serve Slovakic. Be sure to come in and check out their full-service meat market, relax on the front porch, or grab some fresh kolaches from their bakery on your way out. Slovakic Sausage, Highway 60 in Snook.
If you're looking for the best in the Brazos Valley, look no further than Cooper's Old Time Pit Barbecue. Seasoned and cooked to perfection, cowboy style over mesquite coals. Cooper's Aggie Special includes your choice of chopped beef, sliced turkey, sausage, pork loin, or brisket on a buttered and toasted bun, paired with chips and a soft drink for only $12.99. Experience the taste of locally Aggie-owned, nationally recognized Cooper's Old Time Pit Barbecue. Voted best barbecue in the Brazos Valley and proud supporter of Texas A&M Athletics.
Holiday Sparkle starts at Montelongo's Fine Jewelry. The Montelongo's Fine Jewelry family has been helping people select the perfect gift for over 30 years, and they want to be your jeweler this holiday season. Let Montelongo's help you find a dazzling gift from their incredible selection that's in stock and ready to be wrapped. Decide joy. Decide to give. Decide Montelongo's. Bring home a little sparkle with a gift from Montelongo's Fine Jewelry that's sure to make your loved one's Christmas shine. Visit their showroom on University Drive, and Merry Christmas from the Montelongo family to yours.
The college football bowl season on The Zone is brought to you by Hungry Howie's, the home of the flavored crust. You can hear the national championship game, the college football semifinals, you can hear the New Year's Six, and more. All the bowls from ESPN Radio right here on The Zone, 1150 AM and 93.7 FM. Listen in thanks to Hungry Howie's, the home of the flavored crust. It's the bowl season, the most wonderful season of the year.
I've been over drinking, cause I've been overthinking, cause I get so damn anxious.
Closing time on a Thursday morning, 10:52, inside the Rollo Insurance Studio. You are listening to TexAgs Radio, presented by
David Gardner's Jewelers.
Thank you. And we're now going to go to the Social Center with Kay Nagley, where we're going to check the A&B
text line, and we're also in the Rollo Insurance Studio.
Look at you, professional. Kay, what you got?
First of all, text from David O.
No, she can be in the anti-social center. Yeah,
You're going to allow it?
I'll allow it.
Okay. I'll let her go ahead, Kay.
I'm honored. So David Edmonds said, "What is happening at TexAgs? The inmates are clearly running the asylum, openly talking about Taylor Swift with no shame and proud of it."
Well, first off, we have no shame about anything that we do.
Yeah. Simply put, Dave, yes, we are.
What was the non-simple answer you had for him?
Oh, I mean, Dave, we could have done a full 3-hour show about the 3-point night Dylan Larkin had last night and a 7-4 win for the Detroit Red Wings over the Tampa Bay Lightning. And instead, we gave you a minute and a half tops of Taylor Swift. So
we did it.
Be thankful.
It could have been worse. With this crew, it could always be worse. Nick, what are you guys doing for Christmas in your family back there?
Well, at least for me, I will be going back to Sugar Land, Texas, where I'm from. Just spending it with the family, the girlfriend. Everyone comes over to my family's house, and we have a good old time. Zoe's sitting here next to me. She's from College Station, so she'll be. Are you staying here? She's staying here, so she's gonna have Christmas dinner at Kyle Field.
Oh wow!
Wait, what?
That's awesome.
No, that's a joke. That was a joke.
Made that up.
You made that up. Well, as someone who used to host a show would say, we're not going to let facts get in the way of a good storyline. You know, some people would say that. Richard,
I have no comments.
What do you got? Close us out. We're ending the week here. I got to come back and host on Tuesday. Let's say this. If anybody's got any ideas of what I should do for Tuesday's show, let me know, because I have nothing planned right now. I don't even know if I have a guest book, because I don't even know if Olin's coming. So Richard may be back. We're maybe doing a go hour.
Hopefully Tottenham wins, so we can talk about Tottenham
We're not
on Boxing Day.
We're not going to talk about Boxing Day soccer.
Oh, I am trying to get myself fired, it sounds like.
Kay, what do you got?
I got nothing. I'm going home today, so I'm excited to spend some time with the fam. And then
Are we getting lunch? Is the crew going to get lunch?
I think we're going to get lunch.
Okay.
I don't know if we're not going to say where we're going to go, but we're going to go get lunch.
No. Okay, good. Kay,
hang out with
Zoe.
Steve. Hey, hang out with Steve Nagley for us this weekend.
I will, for sure.
All right. We did it, guys. We've made it.
Yeah, Merry Christmas, you guys. Hope everybody has a safe, fun holiday, and hope you guys get to enjoy some time with family. So
Happy Hanukkah to you, Richard.
Oh, that's very kind. But yeah, seriously, everybody stay safe, and we'll see you when, Dalton?
We'll be back on Tuesday. Enjoy Robert Earl Keen to play you out. This is the official start of the Christmas break on TexAgs Radio. We'll see you next week, guys.
He brought his new wife Kay, who talks all about AA, chain smoking while the stereo plays. Noel, Noel, the first Noel. Caught the turkey, turned the ball game on. Mixed margaritas when the eggnog's gone. Send somebody to the quick pack store. We need some ice and an extension cord. A can of bean dip and some diet rides. A box of